A crossover is
crossover dribble.
crossover.
Kyrie Irving, crossover in the lane. One of the most famous crossovers of all time.
Behind the back, an ankle breaker on Chris Paul.
The crossover continues to evolve.
All right, crossovers brought to you by Every Little Concrete Repair and Home on everylittleconcrete.com. Good morning, Connor and Josh.
Sorry. Hello.
Oh.
Hi.
I was just looking here because Stro is going to be on at 11.
That's right.
And one piece of clothing, I thought we might go with multiple pieces of Iowa Western clothing.
Also, no ring is interesting.
I did consider wearing it just to be a jerk.
What's wrong with that?
Jerk?
Show it off.
Yeah.
Show it off.
It's not a jerk.
You got
nature thing.
100 of them.
I have 4 of them. It's not 100.
Ooh.
I mean, it's pretty close to 100. It's
An
100.
entire hand with one.
It's
maybe
more
this
than
year?
other people have.
It's 100 to the guy who doesn't have any.
Just a quick observation on your schedule, because I was a sicko this weekend and I watched a stream of DuPage and Ellsworth.
Oh, God.
Nice.
Ellsworth. Huh?
What the hell?
Sometimes you're lonely.
What are your vacations like?
Ellsworth
one?
isn't very good.
No,
yeah.
they never are.
No, did you not on Saturday night, even, like while Sophie is in your arms sleeping,
Did you
wonder
need a fix?
how many people in your neighborhood are also watching Delaware State, Hawaii?
I did wonder that, actually.
Illegal stream
Yeah.
in Delaware State,
It's
Hawaii.
like, all you
on
have to do is
Spectrum
search
pay-per-view.
on Twitter. It's
Yeah.
there. Somebody's got a stream of their TV.
TikTok has been my go-to of late.
Yeah.
Like for some wrestling events. Rest in peace, Sid Vicious. Passed away.
Yeah.
They did a great tribute to him if you missed it last night. No, like the pay-per-views, if you didn't buy the Bud Crawford fight, TikTok was your go-to.
Indeed.
But you might have to put up with some commentary from somebody that's streaming it, or you get the fight and that person on your screen.
Yeah, or like crying in the background or something like that.
Or them telling you,
Can you bring me the Doritos?
don't like it. They're going to shut us down. Don't like it.
Yeah.
Nice
That's great.
picture of Caitlin Clark.
Thank you. I took that at a very famous game this year.
Do you know that Nebraska volleyball and Caitlin Clark have something in common now?
They're both
international superstars.
That is true. And because of their celebrityism, they require a police officer.
Oh, yeah. True. Yep.
Oh, okay.
In a documentary crew, apparently, too.
That's right.
Does Caitlin Clark have a documentary crew around her?
She did.
She did last year.
Oh, yeah.
Last year.
Yeah.
Okay, that's right.
Yeah.
I was
I assume she does this year.
I've always been curious about this. Like when football programs go on the road, there always is a police officer.
Yep.
They provide their own security along with the security that's provided at the stadium. Men's basketball, you don't see it. I'm surprised that other sports don't travel with a security person. The first time it dawned on me outside of football, when Wisconsin had the incident online with some pictures that were leaked.
Yes.
And they finally then had a cop that would follow him to be a Wisconsin police officer, University of Madison. And he was a big, huge guy.
Mhm.
He would stand right by their bench.
Great job.
And you're like, okay.
Yeah.
Just out of place.
Yeah.
Because he looked like he was playing football in Wisconsin. He was dressed as he was a cop,
Mhm.
but he was like providing security. So now Nebraska volleyball
Mhm.
from here on out, because of Troy Dannon said you got to have a cop. So they have a university police officer traveling with them.
University police.
You are now officially known to the world as rock stars.
Yep.
It's true.
Yeah, it's different. It's a different deal now. Yeah, they're getting the Caitlin Clark treatment a little bit. It'll be fun. I heard you guys talking about how this is the volleyball kickoff classic this weekend. It really is.
Yeah, I think like the Champions Classic, yes.
Champions
of
Classic,
college basketball, because you get 4 very prominent volleyball programs showcased tonight. In between football, you got the night to yourself. Go get them.
Indeed. But anyway, about yesterday.
So I tried to save you.
Oh,
Thanks.
baby.
Thank you.
Oh, baby. Oh, baby.
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah.
So
Can we talk about the Melendez catch as well during this conversation?
Yeah.
Mm.
The whole
Finish the
thing.
game?
Just pour it on, guys. It's good.
Hop on the backs of young Bob and Big Sal, because this is it.
You're going to have to call him Robert because he's grown up before our
The
very
only
eyes.
question is, do they go in as division champs or a wild card? And I'm still sticking to this. If Cleveland relinquishes the lead, which they could do in this series,
Uh-huh.
they don't get it back. I still feel Cleveland will be obviously a wild card team. But
It's still a very tough next 2 weeks for Kansas City. Still very tough next 2 weeks.
But this is even regardless of who Cleveland
this has
plays,
started off very well. Very well.
I was telling Gary this is starting to go as scripted because of the inability of certain guys they were counting on in their rotation, like a Tris McKenzie, but also a couple of injuries, mainly Shane Bieber, that you're putting way too much taxing or stress on your bullpen.
Mm-hmm.
And the offense was always extremely streaky, very limited.
Can I ask a question to you, being the resident diehard Royals fan?
Yes, of course. Please ask away.
And I don't feel comfortable enough asking his part-time TV partner.
What's going on?
What is going
I
on?
don't know.
Somebody on our roof?
Are we okay?
Is Santa here?
I have no idea. Rex Hudler.
What a guy. What a guy. We have the clip from yesterday. Where they're coming back and they're introducing the new Cleveland reliever. And Jake goes, well, he's only allowed 3 home runs the entire year. Then he throws the pitch.
Yes.
And as it like the ball is halfway there, first pitch to Bobby Witt Jr. 4.
So
which is actually
he's quirky.
I'm not a fan
he's
of him. But
quirky
that's not
enough
bad.
that you'll listen. But I get the sense when Jake and Ryan are working with him, like when Hud is just Hud, they've got to be like, there's the awkward pause in the booth.
Yeah.
And I would love to have like a booth cam
Ryan,
to see what the reaction is.
I imagine there's a lot of holding on to the cough button up there when they're big or not, because Ryan is really good at that. Ryan just doesn't say anything. Like, he just will let it sit.
So I think
seconds on seconds, which feels like hours.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
And then Jake is, because Jake is still relatively new.
Yeah.
Well, like, correct Rex.
Well, Jake will be like, what? But yeah, it's so good. Look, you are the broadcast team for a winning baseball team, for a starved, franchise that hasn't done anything in 10 years. You can do no wrong right now.
Why do you have to do Hunter Gaddis like that, though? All of a sudden, just
Sorry.
4.
Sorry. That was the pitch right there.
Yeah.
And then the grand slam last night. And immediately I think of the person who won $25,000 on for a Sonic Slam
Slam
last night.
Sonic Slam.
Yeah.
They used to announce that every night.
So they don't do it on TV anymore. It's just on radio
okay.
now,
Yeah.
apparently. But immediately I was like, that's a grand slam. It's the 6th inning. Who won the Sonic Slam?
Somebody had some stats on that last night. It was like the 28th all-time Sonic Slam or something like that.
25 grand from
They've
Sonic.
been doing it forever. It's a great promotion. But I didn't realize that they just made it radio only now, because Ryan used to announce it before the 6th inning.
It's our Sonic Slam inning.
25.
25 all-time Sonic Slam winners.
Yes.
That's a good amount. They've
That's
been doing that
actually more than I thought.
They probably they haven't been doing that for 25 years, probably
The
like
second
15
of the
years.
season.
Wow.
Second of the season. Yeah, they've been a little grand slammy this year.
This person is listening, so I'm about to bring this up, and so they're going to hear this, but this is more of a discussion. They're on a group text about a tailgate this weekend.
You bring in cookies?
I love, you know what? Because he's probably listening, and I haven't responded to him because I was catching a stray while I was on vacation.
Yeah, you were getting some subtweets.
I love the fact that 10 years later, that is still a discussion.
Oh, it's a disgrace.
And
it's a disgrace.
He will never understand that his son, who is a backup safety at Nebraska as a true freshman,
he
really was excited at that age that I brought cookies, and he said, "You know what? Thank you."
That did not happen.
Thanks, Unc G.
That did not happen.
Also, what that guy fails to mention is that at Caleb's graduation party, they had those cookies. Okay,
They knew you were going to be there.
That's perfect, because those are the kind of cookies that you just buy in bulk. Oh, let me go to the grocery store. I'll buy 6 packages of those. No, those cookies are bad. If somebody shows up with only those cookies, I'm like, no, thank you. You can go home.
I'm glad that 10 years later, that is still a discussion.
Yeah.
There needs to be some context, and one day we will have it out. But on this group text, there is of a tailgate and what people are going to bring. I think I read a text today of the worst item I've ever seen mentioned to bring to a tailgate. What do you guys think this is?
Malort.
Well, if they're from Chicago, you might go, hey.
No. Not even people in Chicago like Malort.
Oh,
Tapenade.
Fondue.
That's a good one.
Now,
I mean, come on, that'd be
this
pretty
is
bad.
not a bougie tailgate. This person said, I'll bring a salad. So if I'm going
What?
to get knocked for bringing
Absolutely
frosted
not.
cookies,
No.
What
this
ki-
person said, oh, I got a salad.
Yeah.
What kind of
Who
salad?
in the right friggin' mind, and he's probably listening because he's a big fan, 6A to 6P listener, says,
Appreciate
I'll
it.
bring a salad to a football tailgate.
Nope, that's not right.
No. Thank you for thinking of our health and well-being, but no.
It's
Is it
definitely different.
Well, okay.
Is
are
that
we,
the- is that
are we
the-
talking like a pasta salad
Oh,
That's a good
like, I'll
question.
bring a salad.
with lettuce? A lettuce
Yes.
salad.
Yeah.
And then bring the Dorothy Lynch.
How do you eat it? How do you?
Oh my gosh,
how-
yeah.
How do you?
Yeah, you do.
Do you
Exactly.
Bring, do you bring
Handheld.
tongs?
Yeah.
It would by far be the thing that would have
Just get your
everything
grubby
left.
bits in there.
Uh-huh.
I don't want anything at a tailgate that I have to use a fork for.
That's a good call.
I don't because I got
Why I could
I
get
could- I
behind
could-
that.
I could have-
just-
I could have like a
see where
little-
you're going here.
I could have like some potato salad, or again maybe a good pasta salad, or some. Can I
I
use a spoon?
I like those things, but I just want to be as
I can understand.
I
that.
want to be as light as I possibly can. Not in the context of the food that I eat, but in with my hands. You
Yeah.
know, like I don't want to have my hands occupied by
Yeah.
anything.
Well, once you start having to balance the plate because the other hand is being used to handle a utensil, yeah.
So let me
it can be
grab
risky.
let me grab a corn dog and just walk away.
Otherwise, you're gonna have to sit down. If you got a utensil, I feel
I don't
like
wanna
it's,
sit
it's-
down.
it's probably gonna have to sit down.
No tables necessary.
I would love that tailgate if they had corn dogs.
corn dogs are amazing.
Yeah.
Corn dogs are fantastic. My father-in-law brings corn dogs to the tailgate regularly.
Oh, hello.
Nice.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Is
Oh,
he
yeah.
in that business?
In the tailgate business
No,
or in the corn dog,
business.
He is not in the corn dog business.
Both would be pretty awesome.
He's definitely in the tailgate business though, for
A
sure.
corn dog to a tailgate.
Yeah.
That would be a first for me, but I like it.
Absolutely.
We could
Yeah.
have kept that Georgia-Nebraska pipeline going. We
There's-
could have had the corn dogs there.
There's always a
Would've been
good
very symbolic.
theme with the tailgates that he puts on, and
It's a lot of Reek
I,
Gilbert.
I think the general like main one is corn dogs. You bring some corn dogs, everybody's going to be happy. It's on a stick. You don't
Yeah,
have to.
it is.
You don't have to have a plate. You don't have
Mhm.
to have a utensil. It's really easy, and you can drink your drink while you're
That's true.
eating your corn dog.
I
If
think
you want
I'm-
dipping sauce, then that's on
I'm
you.
with you on the pro no utensil tailgate.
Yeah, it's on. You don't. I just don't want
You
to have
don't
anything. in my
need it.
hand.
You're right. You don't need it. There's enough things you could have that don't require utensils.
Corn
but-
dog, hot dog. You know, you pick up a
Burger,
little
brat.
slider or something like that. Yeah.
Yep.
Don't make me use a fork.
The person that did mention salad on a group text said that was from my wife.
Ah,
Why don't you bring
okay.
a salad to the tailgate.
Did he let her know what's up?
His wife is very savvy.
Mhm.
It wouldn't be her first tailgate. She didn't say salad.
So he's trying to save face.
Yeah.
Sure.
Wow, throwing her under the bus. Tough look.
But what if there was Dorothy Lynch at on the salad? Be very Nebraska.
Yeah, but it wouldn't do anything. It would make the salad just
Like I would be such a
It's so
letdown.
Sweet
hard to
tangy
eat.
taste of Dorothy
I-
Lynch doesn't
What a
do anything to the salad, Connor.
no.
what a letdown to
hell?
go to a tailgate and there's like regular salad, like a
Yeah,
garden salad
Just
is
a bowl
available.
of salad.
Yep. Sean's got
Sorry, no.
Sean's got his list of items that he brings to his tailgate, and I think this
Hi,
is
Sean.
enough. Tortillas, two kinds of tortillas, both corn and flour.
So we're having-
Guacamole,
Okay.
tequila,
Hello.
and then you just hope everybody else brings the meat that you put on the
Otherwise, you're just having plain tortillas, rolling them up, and having tequila.
put a little guac,
Guac,
little
yeah.
slab of guac on there.
Yeah. Wait, is he talking tortilla chips or tortillas?
Flour tortillas.
Oh, okay.
To like flour and corn tortillas. Yep. Yeah, salsa. But salsa's good. You hop in there.
I wish the
Dunk.
situation in Lincoln was better set up to tailgate.
It's tough. It's very
It's
tough.
Lincoln is one of those places where the bars are a lot more prevalent than most places on game day.
Are they?
Because you don't have like gigantic RV lots where the RVs start pulling in on Thursday to start tailgating.
The lot. Well, I mean, people who are in underneath the viaduct have been under there mostly for decades and decades
Yes.
and decades. Hard to get
And
in
a
there.
good solid tailgate. There are some high-end tailgates.
The lot across the bridge from Pinnacle Bank Arena is nice, wide open.
The Haymarket.
Across what are they? The festival lot, I guess they call that.
Then, by the way, if you go across the street to that like wide open dirt lot, you save like $25.
I know,
Yeah.
but it makes it such.
It is a long
It
walk.
Yeah,
makes it
it's a
such
very
a
long
long walk.
Yeah.
But On game day at Nebraska, you got to be prepared to walk.
Yeah.
You're walking.
But look at like
Tailgate at Haymarket Park. That's
look
a
at
long one.
around
Yeah, it's a long one, yeah.
Memorial Stadium. There are very few like wide open lots to have a lot of tailgating. Like the closest spots, one is the North Stadium parking lot, which is not open to fans.
Yeah, that's very limited.
Then the Champions Club, not open to most fans,
Right.
even though there's some good tailgating going on in there.
Yeah.
Everything else is parking garages.
It's really unique. And at Nebraska, like you've likely been going to the games for many, many years. And so you're counting on the fact that parking hasn't changed, which is not true these days because there's different buildings going up every single day, it feels like down there. And that the tailgate situation hasn't changed. You're going to the same place every single year and you know what to do.
But unfortunately, like the Horseshoe, they've taken spots away. And that is usually a really good tailgate.
I would love to have like my brain erased and like come to Lincoln. Like, what would I do for a game day set? Where would I go? I wouldn't even know where to start. I guess I'd probably go to O Street.
Yeah. So it's bar centric.
Yeah. But do people do that?
Yes,
they do. They can't, the children. I would probably go to Barry's.
children.
I'd probably go to Barry's, stay on the rooftop for sure.
He'd probably have to get there extremely early.
Oh,
Doors open.
It gets loaded up there.
Yeah.
But they do a good job. They
I have
serve
not
people.
been on the rooftop on a game day at
very
Barry's
loud.
for very, 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 very long time.
It's been a year or two for me, but it wasn't bad up there.
We somehow wiggled our way up there after the Miami-Nebraska game. It was packed, but we knew people that were there. We
After
somehow
the
got
game?
in. Yeah,
After the game at Barry's is a much different place than before the game at Barry's.
Sure.
yes.
Yeah, especially the night game. Yeah.
Which one's better?
Depends on your preference.
Yeah.
I prefer before the game.
Afterwards, there was some really good people watching too.
No doubt.
I mean, watching people in all states of drunkenness was really cool.
That's great.
Well, and I was sober because I was at the game in the press box, and so
That's always the
that's
tough
where
part.
you feel really weird too, because you are the most sober person in the entire establishment, and everybody has got like 2 days on you.
That's a good sob story. We want people to feel bad for us. We want people to pity us. Like if we turn into normal people after the game ends if we're not doing big red overreaction and we're there.
Right.
But everybody else has been drinking the entire day.
Yes.
And so you have a decision to make after the game. Do you go out with your friends and not be drunk?
Or do you catch up?
Or do you try to catch up?
And that's never really good.
And neither of them are fun.
No.
Neither of them are fun.
No.
So thank you. I appreciate your sympathy.
Yeah.
It's very hard.
It is.
It's very difficult.
People don't know. People don't know.
Ryan says it kind of sounds subtly that you are jonesing for the res to be opened.
Yeah.
Yes.
Those were the days.
Why-
Still got a week.
They can't be. Those were the days. It's been 10 years. We've learned our lesson. Some of us don't even live in Lincoln anymore. Okay, we're not part of the debauchery for the Miami game that forced the closure of a great tailgate spot. Why not for one game next weekend, just open it up and just let it ride?
Yeah.
I mean,
it'd be
they made the
great.
mistake that they thought they were going to bring in big buses to park in there.
Would the kids even know though? Would the kids even know about the legend of the res?
I mean, that is 10 years ago.
Has this been passed down from generations of kids?
Now, being a decade away could be a little bit rough.
Yeah.
I don't think they know though. I don't think.
Don't you think if you were to bring it back, it would be on the 10-year anniversary?
It would be like all kids it would be like 35-year-olds
Perfect.
just hanging out.
Perfect.
Actually, yeah.
For one Saturday.
Yeah.
One Saturday a year because Sunday is going to be rough on all of us.
Nothing gets
Just
done on
one
Sunday.
Saturday.
Yep.
But here's the
The
other thing.
Colorado game.
So here's the other thing about
No
tailgating.
buses.
Here's
No
the,
buses.
The thing about tailgating, like if you are of age to drink and you are a student, you're probably going to O Street. But as I found out last year on Parents Weekend, the Michigan game, there is that green space in
Yes,
front of
they
the
opened
Union,
that up.
which is a wet part. You can have alcohol there.
Yes.
It's like
And
a,
it
it's
was
like
just,
it's like a hidden
it was
gem.
packed full of students.
Yeah.
I never
Oh.
I when they opened that up, I was like, this is not going.
When did they open
drinking
that up?
on campus? This feels
That's,
Well, I
that's
was-
been new, right?
Well, so,
Yeah,
you know,
it's
me,
newish.
who I don't have a lot of standards. Like I was told where we were going, and we grabbed a roadie walking from about a block and a half away from the frat house to there.
Nice.
And I was like, all these people are drinking, and it's right here. It's in front of the Union.
Yeah.
And this guy goes, "Oh yeah, because this property doesn't belong to the university, you can drink on it." And I was like, "Whoa, no, that can't be right."
It is definitely like it's one of the weird pluses of Nebraska being a dry campus or like just a place that doesn't necessarily encourage this type of thing. You go to other places and you walk on campus and everybody is just carrying around a beer and they're walking around
Yeah.
in public and it's open, you're like, oh my God, where am I? I'm in heaven. This is incredible.
know.
I remember
It's
the
always
first
cool to
time
see.
going to Wisconsin for that first Big Ten game in 2011, and I'm like, oh my God. We can just walk down this. Like, I don't have to worry about this.
I just remember the first time I ever went to a wet campus. That was the craziest thing.
Yeah, incredible place.
What is happening here?
Yeah. So maybe this is maybe we need to keep Nebraska a dry campus.
Yeah, because it otherwise you get used to it, and then you just expect everybody's going to be that way.
Exactly.
You want the shock value of it. I agree.
Kenneth writes in on YouTube,
Kenneth.
the Res Tailgate before the CU game would feed generations.
it would.
It would be.
It would be.
It'd be different, man.
All American.
Yeah.
It would be amazing.
It'd be all American.
It would be all American.
It'd most
In
certainly.
more ways than one.
Yeah, it'd be quite the deal. They'd tell stories about that.
Yeah.
But I don't think
Legendary.
so. I don't think it's coming back.
It just seems right though. 10-year anniversary. You got Colorado on a night game. Like it's almost like everything lined up for it to happen.
Yeah, it's the 10-year. I mean, what day of the year was the Miami game in 2014?
Was that week 3 or 2? I think it was week 3.
September 20th.
I'm sorry. I mean, what
Yeah,
time
yeah.
of the day?
So it would have been week 3.
So
yeah.
we'd be just
And it was
shy.
night.
We'd be just shy of the 10-year anniversary of
Yeah.
the last
That game
hurrah.
was a night game.
Yeah, it
This
was.
is a
Night
night
game.
game.
Anger
Anger.
feeds.
A-Rod probably won't be in this one, but
No.
A-Rod
We
that
should
angered
get-
everyone.
We should get A-Rod back. That was right at the start of the. That was like when the rail yard became
Yeah.
cool.
It
Did
was.
A-Rod make the rail yard cool?
I will put that on the
And you
poll.
couldn't miss him because he had that bright
Big
orange
orange
three-quarter zip.
He
Yeah.
was a gigantic person.
Miami was the 4th game of the 2014
Oh, they're the 4th
season.
game. Okay.
Yeah, that was they didn't have 9 conference games yet,
Oh,
so
that's
they
true,
would
yeah.
play. They
Did
would play
A-Rod
4-9.
make the rail yard cool?
And then to top it off, you remember how that game ended with a fight?
Yeah.
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 And there were people. in the-
Randy, no.
There were people where where the visiting team goes off the field. There were fans coming down to the gate that wanted to fight the Miami players.
I love it. I love it.
As it should be.
Every 10 years we get a game like that. That should be the rule. So just
I'm quickly scrolling to find the 2034 Nebraska
mark
schedule.
your calendars for 2034.
What do we got for that one?
And
20-year anniversary.
who do we hate? Who do we
Texas.
hate? Texas.
Mhm.
Bring Texas in.
Yep.
Let's get it on the schedule, Mr. Yogurt. Put it on there. Texas 2034.
Oklahoma State, September 16th, 2034 is on the books.
Will Mike
Don't hate
Gundy
him
still
enough,
be the
Mike.
head coach?
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, we don't.
He will have applied for 8 more jobs by then, but he'll still be there. Yeah.
So this is a good of the hate rankings before we become lovers later in the week. Is at the still the most hated opposing program by Nebraska fans is because it's not Oklahoma,
It's
No.
definitely not
No,
Oklahoma.
No.
I think it's Texas.
Miami or Colorado.
I think
Miami-
Colorado's close.
Miami, Colorado, Texas
I'd
is
put-
like the
yeah.
holy trinity.
Yeah. Yep.
The unholy trinity.
I don't think you could say Iowa. There's hate, but it's more. It's still developing. I think
Yeah.
it's not rooted in everyone.
And you're like, there's a difference between the non-con early season hate game
Yeah.
and
Conference hate, yeah.
and the last game of the season hate
yeah,
game.
no, you're
There's a lot of other stuff going on in the last game of the season. We're all worried about whether they're going to go to a bowl game,
Uh-huh.
like whatever the whole
True.
thing. There's a lot of other stuff going on. This is just pure. It's fed by only hatred.
I see that guy all the time. I hate
Exactly.
him, but I can still
Yeah, we'll deal with him next year
Yeah,
if we lose.
yeah.
right.
So let me ask you guys because you lived here because I went away. I went to Florida. The tail end of the Nebraska-Colorado rivalry, and remember, to this day, the Nebraska-Colorado, the height of the rivalry was a short window
Mhm.
from the late '80s to the mid '90s.
Yep.
And then 01 sucked.
Yep.
But
Horrible.
other than that, but what was the end of the Colorado-Nebraska rivalry around here?
It wasn't overly
That was when-
talked about.
It was when they, like, what was it like when they?
Yeah, it wasn't. I imagine it was not.
I don't think
like
there
the
was
game on the schedule that you got riled up.
Yeah,
for.
it wasn't that.
There wasn't much.
wasn't that.
There wasn't much lamenting for when Nebraska left for the Big Ten about losing the Colorado
Yeah.
game.
Agreed.
There wasn't much like, oh dang, we don't get to play Colorado.
Well, because they had fallen off as well.
yeah, I mean, they were
It just
horrible.
was. Yeah, it was just kind of another game. Maybe the day of or a couple days there was reminiscing of the old. But yeah, it wasn't anything like you couldn't wait. Like hey,
even-
only 2 weeks away.
And because Nebraska won the last 3
Mhm,
before they left, and obviously there was the 08 game, but then they won in 09 out there,
Yep.
and then they won in 10 here by a blowout. It was just like, yep, all right, see you later.
Yeah.
We'll catch you down the road a little bit.
And
And they did,
And
by the way.
they were on the struggle bus too, Colorado. Was,
Well,
which
'cause
also
even-
helped.
Even like when Colorado was here for the first time in Frost's first game, there wasn't like hate.
Yeah,
It's like, hey, it's
this is
Colorado.
cool. It was almost like, oh, this is kind of cool.
Yeah, but there was too much other stuff going on. I would have
Yeah.
liked to see that game under normal
It
circumstances.
was the debut. It
was
wasn't
Frost's
supposed to
first
be the
game.
debut, but it
Yeah.
was the debut.
We were still wrapped up in Akron, being mad at Akron.
Right.
Why did they leave?
And if I remember, yeah, I think the feeling was, yeah, why couldn't we play on Sunday?
Yeah.
I feel like it was more of, oh, this is cool, the old Big 8, Big 12 days. It wasn't necessarily, oh, freaking Colorado. But then you get, the guy twisting the knee, and you're like, oh, okay, I remember Colorado doing stuff
Going
like that.
out there in 19 was pretty special. I mean, that brought
Yeah.
back a lot of memories,
Yep.
I think. And then last year, once again, kind of wrapped up in it. It's one of the first
But
games
you
of
need
rule.
characters.
Like Dion,
Yes, and
like-
Dion is
like,
more than that.
There is a character in this
Yes.
this series again.
Mac was that way too. He was so yeah. I would agree.
Nebraska 49-21-2 all time against Colorado. That is a 6.94 winning percentage.
Nice.
That rounds down to 69.
We miss characters. Like if Bigelow would have stayed at Wisconsin longer, the Nebraska-Wisconsin rivalry would have gone to a whole nother level.
It was getting there.
And especially the two head coaches hated each other.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I mean, a lot of that was Nebraska falling off.
That was part of it.
Also, Bielema showing up at the Big 12 or the Big 10 championship game in flip-flops when they told Bo that he had to dress up. And so for one of the rare times, he's wearing a suit with a mock turtleneck. And Bielema shows up in a sweatsuit and slides. And Bo loses his mind when they're taking a picture together.
Yeah.
Because he goes, I would have gone casual.
Yeah.
We had
And then they lost the game by 100.
you'd appreciate this, Josh, you as well. Sam McEwen earlier, we had a Biff the Blogger mention on the show.
Oh, that comes up every couple weeks around here.
If the blogger,
Bo, we miss you sometimes.
we do.
It's good to look back. And I assume that comes up because Dion.
Yes.
Yeah. All right.
Biff,
Because-
the blogger.
Sam told the story about how, when he kicked people out of practice and him and Dirk had a conversation one-on-one
Yeah.
with Bo
Sam's told that story a lot. He's like,
in the hallway.
don't do this. They were there.
Yeah,
They
don't do this.
literally went up to him and they're like, as a person, like you don't actually want to do this.
So are we back? We're back.
Yeah, so you
was-
got smart.
That was my favorite part of it. So are we back? We're back.
See, a
We're back on or whatever.
couple of interactions where
Bo ran a little
things
hot.
got,
Yeah.
well, a couple of interactions. I was telling Nick this, like Bo was one of those guys that you just had to take it and you had to let him get it out.
Totally.
And he would rant and he would say stuff and he might, like in Sipple's case, say, get your to my office. I'm going to beat you.
We're gonna
Yeah.
fight. We're gonna
But
fight.
but you
Yeah,
but,
in the
but-
case of Sipple.
but
yeah.
this was Bo. Bo would go and go and go. You wouldn't get many words in, and then once he was done, there was a pause, and you go, "We good?"
Yeah,
we're good.
you never felt like he actually didn't respect you or he actually hated you. It was just like, I'm really mad right now and I'm going to tell you that I'm mad and I'm going to get this whole thing all out. But we know each other and we interact with each other on a daily basis. We're cool. That's kind of how it felt. I imagine that's how it felt being one of his players and one of his coaches as well. Same thing. It's like, look, this guy's going to get after it. But I know he loves us.
Yeah.
That type of thing. He probably didn't love the media, but I think there was still at the end of the day, like this mutual kind of respect type of deal. I don't feel like Dion really has that. Dion's like, hey, I'm up here, you're down here. Why
Well,
are you talking about
unless you are in that press room that is stroking the ego, talking about the greatest things that ever happened. I was telling Gary, like his response to the whole Keeler situation, talking about somehow associating criticism, fair criticism of a program or an element of a game, anything that you might get on a day-to-day basis as hate as negativity.
I know people take
I'm
stuff
not a-
way too personal.
I'm not a negative guy, so I'm not going to answer your negative question because I'm not a negative guy. I don't hate like you do. It's like I don't hate you or your program.
Yeah.
I'm simply asking a question of, so what were you thinking here or anything like that?
Yeah.
And then I go back to
I'm wondering
when they beat TCU last year. He wants, because there were people in that post-game press conference, in that press room. Remember, he would ask, he'd be like, "Hi, I'm Connor with 1620 The Zone."
Yeah.
So tell me about the, do you believe Connor? Connor, do you believe? Before he'd even answer your question, you got to be like, I'm sure. Yeah, I believe. Because wasn't Ed Werder? It was something with Ed Werder that he's like, do you believe? Do you believe? Do you believe? So he wants people like, I believe. So can I continue to ask Mike? It was just, that's what he wants. And to me, that is just, it's absurd. It's absolutely absurd.
100%.
There is no media access from the Nebraska media to Dion. There's no like conference call.
Yeah.
But if you go out to Boulder for their press conference,
go there.
Yeah, you will be allowed.
Okay.
Well, yeah.
So again,
It's a quick
I
trip.
think a great bit is that this radio station should be in Boulder next week.
I think it'd be hilarious. And I mean, hang out at Pearl Street.
Look, I do love the town.
Yeah, Boulder's great.
It's a great
Boulder
town.
is fantastic.
As the director of audio,
Can we
I'm here to remind you fellas that you are able to do your shows remotely.
We just have to have the right microphone, right?
Yeah. Just
The correct radio mic.
So, as the
They would
director of
be-
audio, are you paying for our hotel rooms?
Yeah, I mean, can we
Everything
get
like
sponsors involved in this?
well,
We're gonna make this a day trip.
if
or-
anyone wants to sponsor us trolling Colorado, contact the sales department.
I feel like there would
What
be
a
a lot
great
of people
bit.
want to.
People go, why is an Omaha sports talk station doing all their shows from Boulder?
They realize this is a
Yeah, but
away
then we
game
would-
for Colorado, right?
then we would go there, and it would be so bad that would not be fun.
We would get
It
all of
would-
our vehicles torched.
We
Yeah.
probably would.
yeah.
Do you think we could get Prime to show up on location, though?
Definitely.
If we tell them we believe?
Nick, this is your full circle moment of the day.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's
Okay.
what we do. We tell them
Oh, I know
we're
where
coming
this is
out there
going.
because we believe.
How are those Oasis tickets coming?
So you know Oasis is coming back.
I heard. Yeah,
I've heard almost ad nauseum that they're coming
yeah,
back.
a little too much.
I'm downplaying Oasis. I think
So-
they're just a bit better than a one-hit wonder.
So there is a Twitter account.
Whoa.
Yeah.
There's a Twitter account called Nightmare UK. It says Oasis are trending. What else from the 90s should make a comeback?
Mm.
Quick Trip responded with a picture of the old Big 8 basketball jacket.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go, QT.
Yes.
Did anybody say Nebraska football?
Anybody say? Wait, I guess this would have been 80. The Pizza Hut Final Four or NCAA tournament basketball was 80s, right?
No, that was 90s.
Was that
'cause
90s?
I
Yeah, I
had
thought that.
that,
Yeah, okay, yeah. So there you go. There would be one. The Pizza Hut NCAA tournament basketball. Used to have those every year. We look forward to it.
Yeah, can we tag
Get them back. Yeah,
tag
We-
Pizza
we-
Hut in that?
So they're having problems.
we love
with
nostalgia.
They're having problems with the tickets on this situation. What was your deal with the tickets? What tickets are you trying to get?
So I went to the Ticketmaster site, 2 tickets to the Creighton Purdue exhibition game.
Yes.
In the 200 level, they're only $13. Money goes to charity.
All right. $26, right?
Yeah. My checkout bill is $54.50.
That's
double.
absurd.
It's literally double.
That's ridiculous.
So
So
instead, I will either go to the Creighton box office or go to the CHI where you don't have to pay fees. But that is ridiculous that the service fees, facility fee, and taxes are more than the price of the tickets.
yeah, it's not right.
Nope.
It's not right. But
Thanks, Pearl Jam.
so what?
Oh.
Where does the does the $26 go to charity or the
that-
other
no,
26?
the 26 does.
Yeah,
Like
the ticket price
Ticketmaster,
does.
and I'm sure whatever the relationship is with CHI, they divvy up the rest. But
Yeah.
Ticketmaster gets a huge chunk of
So
the service fee.
So if you're paying $54, $26 goes to charity, and the other 26 goes to Ticketmaster.
The thing that says service fee,
$28.50 to be exact.
yeah, that service fee is going right into the pockets of Ticketmaster.
Glad someone's
The
profiting
ticket
off
price that they're charging you to go
But
is
seriously,
charity.
the service fees and facility fees are more than the actual face value of the tickets.
Not good.
Nope.
Not good. Maybe I can get you in as a special guest of me.
Yeah, you
What's
could
up?
be on the. I'm assuming you're going to still do a pregame and
That's
and
the plan.
halftime. Okay.
Yeah.
What if the Ohio State game is at night?
Oh,
I I'm not doing big red overreaction.
I would
Oh
be.
crap! I am. We
Yeah,
are.
we are.
Yeah, that's
I
right.
would have to find somebody to use those 2 tickets, but I want to go because I think it's first of all, it's support the cause.
Shout out to
I love
charity.
college basketball.
great
I think
for
it's
you.
great that Creighton and Purdue are playing.
Yeah.
But when I went there yesterday, I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
I mean, I was like, first of all, I was like, oh, they're only $13. This is pretty cool.
Mhm.
Got through it all, everything, clicked on everything, and then it gives you the final one. And I'm like, $54 for. Yeah.
Well, then you got to go.
Did I accidentally add 2 to that?
You got to throw on 10 for parking too. So that'll run you up as well.
Where I park.
You got a deal. You got a thing.
Yeah.
Got a guy.
That's cool. That's good. Star Wars Fiend says old country buffets should come back from the 90s. I agree. Indeed, they should. Golden Corrals, things of that nature.
Now, Golden Corral's still around.
Yeah, Golden Corral's still around, but they should come back.
Shoney's are not
Oh,
around here anymore.
Sizzler.
What we really need is like the breakfast buffet type place.
Yes.
Like that's why Shoney's like would always hit a homer.
Yep.
Shoney's.
Shoney's, I know.
I never went to a Shoney's breakfast buffet.
Oh yeah. All the biscuits and gravy you can handle.
That's good. That's good. Did you guys ever go to Pioneer Village? I never did either, but I'm interested. What happens at those? They have billboards for them all across I-80. I'd like to go.
They do, and they used to buy newspaper advertisements that were like a little square in the corner.
Yeah, that's where I want to be.
Pioneer Village.
Yeah, I think that's what it's called, right?
Old Country Buffet.
Old Country Buffet.
Oh God.
Old man Doug said he was once elected mayor of the Res.
Really?
He was not there
Back
for
in
the
his day?
bus getting tipped over, though. The
That would have
bus
been great if he was
did
elected
not
that day.
get tipped over. For the record,
It was getting rocked
it
back and
just
forth.
got rocked a
Yeah.
little bit.
It got rocked to the point that it was scaring people.
That's all.
But the reason they gave why they shut it down is because the bus tipped over.
The bus didn't get tipped over.
It just scared people.
It got close.
Yeah.
It definitely got close.
Yeah.
I mean, those people were in the wrong place. That's not where they should have been parking.
That is true, though.
And the age of the people on that bus was not appropriate to begin the res.
It wasn't.
The res was not for those people.
It was a cocktail of bad choices.
The red should be 35 and under.
And definitely no
not all
parking.
inclusive.
Definitely
Yeah.
no parking.
No. That's right. You just go there. It's the grounds to celebrate on.
That's all. That's what it's supposed to be.
I like it put that way.
If I'm not mistaken, it did stick around for a little. Like that wasn't it. There was a couple weeks, maybe a year afterwards, where it was there, but it wasn't the same. It was the soul. It was the body of the res, but not.
We
the soul.
also had a run on. We also had a run on North Bottom's property. So, as someone that owns some property there, by the way, I did get a letter 2 weeks ago, just reminding people about parking restrictions in your yard and the amount of people you have in your backyard.
That's important.
But what shut down the res is there was a party in the North Bottoms that had 450 people in the backyard.
That'll do it.
And so somebody took a picture of it from above. It was a little tight quarters.
Yeah, was
And
that?
so LPD was like, whoa, what's going on here?
Nothing at all. This is a time-honored tradition. It's been going on for many
I've
years.
seen that photo.
Because where is
I have too.
where is the post game for the Colorado game?
It's in an abandoned building.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, somebody was asking me for the address today, and I'm like,
So
Did not
there used to
pop
be
up.
a coffee shop right up against the train tracks.
Okay.
There, I believe it was called Destinations. That business no longer occupies that building, but we do happen to know the person who owns it, and they reached out, and we said, sure, we could sit there and do the show.
Nice.
It's in the bottoms.
Can people see us?
Are you asking like, will it be well lit?
Well, like, could we invite people?
I don't know. That's a good question. I mean, we're out in public, right? People might stroll over.
I mean, that the best shows are those kind of shows.
Yeah, it's just like, hey, we're going to set up and do a show in the middle of nothing.
And you have been drinking all day and probably are celebrating.
Yeah. Oh,
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
One final question from Jeff. I feel like an idiot, but who is A-Rod? That'd be Alex Rodriguez, the Hall of Fame. Well, not Hall of Fame, but the very good baseball player.
Aaron Rodgers.
Yes, he was not in Lincoln for the Miami
No,
game.
it was not. You never know. Or a Raj.
Norm says, to be fair, people at the res were also throwing full beers into a mosh pit of a crowd, and some people ended up with concussions. Well, yeah, that was weekly.
How soft is you get a concussion from a full can of beer?
Yeah.
I mean, if you're throwing a keg, I get it.
Yeah. or maybe a glass bottle. A bottle every now and then. If it doesn't break, that's going to
hurt. If you pick up a party ball from Coors and throw it.
Okay, maybe.
I think
I want to sit that one out.
There's a lot that has tailgaters next to where we're going to be. So yeah, people come on over.
All right, boom.
Come on over.
I like that.
I bet people bring you food and stuff.
I that's probably possible.
I haven't purchased a keg in a long time.
Are you thinking about it?
You're just going to roll a keg down there?
I used to swap out kegs at Mum's.
Yeah.
And sometimes the guy at Mum's would call one of my roommates and like, hey, somebody returned a keg and it's like half full. Do you guys want it? And he'd like sprint over there and get it.
That's amazing.
That might be.
I always used to go to Ken's Kegs. Ken's
Good
Keg.
spot.
Yeah, Ken's Kegs.
I bet it's been
discovered
25 years since I bought a keg.
Huh.
And I used to buy a keg like every week.
Yeah. That's why I got to go to Ken's Kegs.
I also didn't know that
Bought one last week.
you got.
You did?
I did.
Of what? Keystone?
No. We're getting a little Sierra Nevada.
Wow, you got a
Fancy.
craft beer keg?
Yeah.
I've never done that.
Yeah.
What was the occasion?
Fall.
All right.
We got football to watch.
Fall.
Yeah.
No better occasion.
Exactly.
No better
Yeah,
occasion.
we're getting to a holiday, folks.
Week
Come on.
0.
Come on.
Some people go and buy a freezer full of beef. The Hanleys go get a keg of craft beer.
That is definitely a great Nebraska thing. There's like,
just to say, hey.
do you want to come over and I have this giant? I bought a cow this year.
Oh yeah.
So you just pick out of there whatever you want.
Yeah, take that. Or I got some deer sticks for you. Got a lot of deer sticks.
Everybody's got deer
Yeah,
sticks.
you got to try my deer sticks. They're really good.
We are inching closer, a couple of months away from that time.
Yep.
Where, hey man, I got a deer. You want to come over? I got some. I want to get some meat.
Got some venison meat.
Like,
got some deer
yes,
sticks.
I will.
Yep.
I will. I've been eating off that for years.
And the response is yes and yes.
Hey, you are right, because not too long ago somebody goes, hey, I don't know if you have room or not, but do you want to split a cow with me? Guy in Wahoo's got it. Wahoo locker.
Yeah, the Wahoo locker.
Yeah.
I imagine not having that conversation in Los Angeles.
But here's the deal: like, I'm not gonna bring this to you. Like, you have to come into my fridge.
Yeah,
You got to come to my house.
Yeah, it's like
I gotta
source of
walk
pride.
in, deep freeze.
Do you want to see it? It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
You're like, nah, I'll pass. I hear on the radio during the summer you can just go and get it out of a truck.
It's the same thing with the keg. All are welcome. I got beer.
That's true.
Watch some football and drink some beer.
All right. See you guys later. Have a great day.
You
Good
too.
luck. Good luck. I hope
Yeah,
everything works out
yeah,
for
I'm
you.
sure
Nick.
you do.
All right. That's the crossover.
I'll
Powered by
go ahead and beat the Twins for y'all.
Yes.
There you go. Thank
Do
you.
that.
Every Level Concrete Repair in Omaha. EveryLevelConcrete.com. We'll start things off next. I'm going to like it. Likes are private now.
Discreet shipping is prescribed, a 100% online process, and a range of treatment options, including trusted.
All right. I don't know if we can get two in before Stro here. Might have to.
And at Hims, so is treatment. Just go to hims.com/radio.
No, we will not. We'll make it up later. Mike's on?
It's the Conor Happer Show. Are we sure we want to do this?
Could you, make an announcement that we're ready?
It's the Conor Happer Show on 1620, The Zone.
All right, welcome in. Happy Tuesday. Mike's on. At Happer Show, at Conor Happer. We're here. I'm Conor Happer. Josh Hudson with you.
That's me.
For those of you who are listening to the stream during the break, hello. Hi again. This is what's supposed to be on the air.
All the way live, baby.
All right. Welcome to a Tuesday show. Football season is very, very close. Week 0 doesn't count. Some might argue that we're in it, but we're not. We're still a few days away.
We're not in football season.
No,
not yet.
No, we
Okay.
still have preseason topics to discuss today. Our prediction of the day regarding Nebraska football that we're tracking and keeping the entire year so that we can better, tell you how accurate or inaccurate we are. Our prediction today, run pass ratio. What will Nebraska's run pass ratio be? Don't guess.
50.
No, I don't think that's right. I don't think that's right. Only a couple times in Matt Rule's career has he achieved just about 50-50. I'll give you the context. As we go on throughout the show today, we'll hear a little bit from Matt Rule yesterday. There's a bowl projection I'd like to talk about. Today is NFL Cutdown Day, as you can see in our stream title today. So we'll be keeping track of a couple Huskers. Samari Toure already cut.
Gone zone.
Sorry. What will happen with one Adrian Martinez on NFL Cut Day? It's a wild day because the rosters there's only one cut day now, and you can have 90 guys during the summer. And turns out to have an NFL roster during the season to be roster compliant, you must be down to 53 today.
Those are two wildly disparate numbers.
Those are very different. So they'll have to sort through a lot of people getting cut loose today. So we'll keep you updated on any Huskers if anything crosses the timeline today. Welcome. In a couple minutes, we will chat with Scott Strowmeier, the head coach of Iowa Western football.
I know him.
Josh is going to Georgia this weekend.
I am.
He's going to Georgia. He's taking his cool charter jet down to Florida. I said, Josh, you flying into Atlanta? Because you're, the place where you're playing is probably about 2 hours outside of Atlanta. You fly into Atlanta, taking a bus down there. He goes, nope.
Wouldn't dream of it.
They're making a runway for you on the football field.
That's right.
And you're just going to land there and then get out, do the game, and come back home. You'll only be in Georgia for 6 hours.
Something about me not being allowed in Atlanta because I would just annoy everyone with Braves takes.
I think everybody would enjoy the Braves takes if you were in Atlanta.
I would have thought.
I'd
so
say
as
it's
well.
more annoying when you're not doing Braves takes in not Atlanta.
I'll eat dinner at a Waffle House on Friday, and we'll wake up and play some football.
Okay, so exciting. Stro will join us in just a few minutes. How's the preseason coming along and defending not one but 2 national championships, looking for a third, and doing it at the junior college level? It's always an interesting conversation with Stro as he locks in for game week coming up in just a few minutes here. Allan Bell will join the show as well. Talk about the NFL college football week 0, I suppose, with him. Jacob Bigelow will join us at 1 o'clock. We'll welcome Jacob Bigelow to the club of people who had Tim Miles on their random podcast.
Congratulations.
I had Tim Miles on a random podcast one time. A now defunct random podcast, may I add.
Of which you have many.
Of which I have many, indeed. Yeah, so it was a good conversation. We'll welcome Jacob to the club at 1 o'clock. That is the lineup. Cover the referees at John Higgins Weather Guard. Want to hear from you guys. 402-951-1620 on the 42 Degrees The Source hotline. Call our Texas show. There at that number, you can email Connor, Josh O at 1620thezone.com in the Equitable Bank inbox. Tweet at Happer Show at Connor Happer on the JTech Construction Zone Twitter feed. We say good morning to our YouTube streaming audience, who is always on our side. They're always helping us with, just in case our mics are on. They always tell us about it.
I don't know why they're always on.
They're not going out over the air, so we're not, we are not subject to FCC rules with the stuff we say on air, but we are still subject to cancellation.
I don't know why the settings are different every day I walk into this room.
It's very confusing. It's very confusing, but let's go ahead and make sure we check that.
Yes.
That's all going forward. Elsewhere, I've reached the point of no return with the Royals. Oh, today's Tuesday. We're supposed to do reaction overreaction. I forgot to do that.
Well, last week you said that might have been the last MLB reaction overreaction as we shift to college football.
Well, I forgot to do so, but somebody sent me an email of things that they want to hear about on reaction overreaction. David sent me this.
David
on Sunday.
Thank you.
He said, first, let me add my congrats on a healthy baby girl. If the writers will take MLB reaction submissions, here's one. The Diamondbacks are the best team in baseball right now. Reaction overreaction.
We don't talk a lot of Diamondbacks.
We do not talk a lot of Diamondbacks.
They are America's team, though.
Yeah. So that would have been a question that we would have explored. But the writers once again forgot. The writers forgot to write questions today. So maybe we'll do that at some point later in the week, but I kind of doubt it. It might be dead. That you might have heard the last one already. But make no mistake about it. You'll be hearing about baseball through the month of September. I will be riding a wild, wild roller coaster of emotions. The Kansas City Royals are 1 game out of the American League Central. They can take the lead today. They would own the tiebreaker with Cleveland if they win today, even though they'd be tied. And then they can go a game up if they win tomorrow. A doubleheader sweep yesterday on the backs of a Bobby Witt Jr. home run, an MJ Melendez catch, and a Salvador Perez grand slam. The dudes are being dudes, Josh. The dudes are duding.
The boys are playing some ball.
Yeah, and I am wearing that shirt today. The boys are indeed playing some ball. We got to calm down. We got to calm down. Because now they're 6.5 games clear of a playoff spot. 6.5 games. So you might look at that and you say, hey, look, you're 6.5 games clear of a playoff spot. You're pretty much guaranteed a playoff spot. You're going to make the playoffs. The Royals have a 90% chance to make the playoffs.
That's good.
According to Fangraphs as of this morning. 89.3, I guess. So an 89% chance to make the playoffs. But I haven't been able to adjust my brain to, oh, wait, it would be an epic collapse if they made the play. Like in no scenario that I laid out at the beginning of the year was this a possibility. None of them. I was like, I just hope they get to September and there's something there. Like they're clinging to something. No, it's gone. It's gone the other way. They will have to have a very, very bad September to not make the playoffs. And so that becomes very difficult for me to handle emotionally.
You're working through it, though.
I know. I'm trying. Also this morning, according to many, Nebraska got a new football player.
Yes, many people have told us
They are letting us know about the news.
that we already knew.
Mac Markway. Mac Markway, Josh. Don't you love him?
It's an interesting name. I would need to know more.
Do you love the fact that he transferred from LSU?
Go Tigers.
He left the LSU program just a few weeks ago. He is expected to practice in Lincoln today. Markway's father.
Today?
Yes, today. Markway's father played for Iowa.
Oh. Is this legal?
I don't know.
Okay.
Is the portal open? I have no idea. But Nebraska added a player, so I doubt that he'll be able to do anything in the first several weeks of the season. But it'll probably be something that Matt Rule gets asked about on Thursday at his final press availability before the first game. Markway was about to enter his sophomore season with the LSU Tigers as on three rights. He seemed to be a player with a bright future in Baton Rouge as he played a pivotal role for LSU as a freshman last year. He played in all 12 games. He made a start. He caught 3 passes for 16 yards. Pivotal, I'd say.
Pivotal.
That's what they said. He played a pivotal role. He caught 3 passes for 16 yards.
That's pivotal?
It's pivotal. I'd say that's pivotal. Anyway, they got him. So they got another tight end. Congratulations to Nebraska. Thomas Fidone is still the starter. Let's not Eric Gilbert this thing, okay? Nebraska's at a point they're comfortable enough with their depth, and if they add players, like, it's good, but I would say, it's a flyer at this point.
Can this person run the football?
No, 3 catches for 16 yards. No rushes last year.
Okay.
No rushes.
I would say no. I'd love a standout running back to just hop on board.
I don't think those are available at this moment.
Interesting.
Yeah. So Nebraska's going to have to go with one of its 4 first-string running backs. They're all first stringers, Josh. They must all be good.
Well, yeah. I mean, first string. That's good.
Indeed. All right. So plenty of things to come on the show today.
Quick thought. I'm sorry.
Go.
You don't see band dorks like first chair is first chair for an instrument in the orchestra. There's not like 4 first chair flutes, are there?
Like it or not, Josh, somebody is going to take that first carry, and it's that person who will be the first string running back for Nebraska.
Okay.
So they could put 4 of them in one spot, but they're not going to play all 4 of them at the same time. They will not do that.
Only one person can play the solo.
Only one person gets the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Indeed. So you will know on Saturday which person that is. At the end of the game, you'll count up the carries and you'll say, oh, wow, that guy had 8, that guy had 6, that guy had 5, that guy had 4. Who is the starting running back? Probably the guy with 8.
Yeah, that'd be my guess.
Yeah, it'll sort itself out, I think. I'm not happy about it, but it will definitely sort itself out. Okay, plenty of things to come on the show today. Scott Strohmeier is the head football coach at Iowa Western.
Go Reavers.
Go Reavers, Josh says. They'll be defending a national championship when they hit the road and play Georgia Military Institute. Georgia Military Academy.
College, I believe.
Georgia Military College. Mm-hmm. Coming up this Saturday. Let's check in with Stro. They also have a notable transfer who's going to be the quarterback.
Slinging it
this year. We told you about that over the summer. We'll be back with Stro next on 1620 The Zone.
let's get back to the Conor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
All right, welcome back. Conor Happer, Josh Hodson with you. You're the Conor Happer Show, 1620 The Zone, 1620thezone.com. College football really begins for everybody this Saturday, even though there were some JUCO games apparently last weekend too. Why was Gary watching Ellsworth? No idea.
Who would watch Ellsworth?
Was Scott Strohmeier even watching Ellsworth this past Saturday?
Look, I don't want to speak for the man, but no.
I can't say that I was not watching that game. I did watch a couple of them.
Okay, all right. You watched some, but that makes sense for you because you are a junior college head football coach, not just a person.
Exactly.
Hey, Coach, how's it going?
Good.
How's the lead up to the season been? Like, it's, and we talk about this every time we have you on. I feel like we, a few times a year. The turnover this year. What's it kind of been like getting this group in particular ready for game one?
Yeah, well, I'll know a lot more Saturday evening, after the game. But, it came by quick. We're fortunate. We had pretty much most of our guys here, all of our younger guys and guys who maybe weren't on this or didn't play a lot last year. We had them here right after the 4th of July. So we had a good week, 3 weeks of kind of, getting them into shape and listing and kind of, meeting. And then, we started fall camp and it's gone really fast. We tried practicing in the afternoons because we're going to be playing in heat, but there was no heat except for yesterday.
Yeah.
So that one kind of backfired on me there, but yeah, it's been good. I mean, we had a scrimmage against Dordt College last week to kind of just give us our first taste against the different colored jersey and played a lot of young kids, but we still have some question marks like everybody does going into week one.
What's the process of figuring out what kind of team you're going to be with you're trying to figure out what kind of personnel you have, but then also, okay, what are our strengths on top of that? And you have to do this in a really short period of time.
Yeah. And that's always the biggest challenge. And I do, we got a chance to be really explosive offensively. It's the big thing is how, everybody says this, but how are we going to handle if things don't go our way or an individual's way? Because we do have some, not a lot of experience as far as guys played in games or, they're still maturing that needs to be done, but you never know until you get into those situations. So, we kind of challenge our coaches a little bit to being like, we can't have too many guys that are immature. Like we've won a lot of games with just some very smart, disciplined football players, and that's what we have to do. But like I said, every year is a little bit different. This year, even more so, just because we don't have very much returning at all on both sides.
Not you. Georgia Military played over the weekend. They're your first opponent this weekend.
Yeah.
They played a prep school. What did you see, or what have you heard that you can take away for the game Saturday?
Yeah, I watched that game when it was on. You always want to kind of see, and of course, I'm glad I did because they're running a new defensive scheme that the head coach has never ran before. So now we're preparing for that. But the guy came from Dodge City last year, so we have a game from there. Kind of the same defensive structure. But in talking to them, he's got a lot. He's young too, but he's redshirted some guys, and that's what he's trying to build us in that program of redshirting some guys and getting them in that second year. Going through an off season. They always have athletes. They're bigger than they were last year. When we played them, it was hard to watch the prep school. The prep school had a few players, but they couldn't. They were lacking in some spots. And got exposed. So, I don't know if Georgia Military is that good or if Jerry Prep just wasn't that good. So, but it was good to see. The only thing is they got week one out, and it always everybody says you improve the most from week 1 to week 2, and we can't have the first game mistakes. That some teams have had.
Yeah, they got 15 penalties for 180 yards out of their system that you will not be the beneficiary of. They played a prep school. Your scheduling philosophy is to not do that. Can you take us through how Scott Strowmeier puts together a schedule?
Yeah, I mean, one, we've never shied away from playing anybody, and since some of those guys have a hard time getting games. We built some nice little rivalries with Snow, and and I think that's a big selling point to me. Like, we're going to play in Georgia this year. We played in Utah last year. Always two really good teams. Gives our guys a little bit more exposure, but I've always said if you're good enough to make it into the playoff and win it, you got to play teams like that at some point. And I know everybody says, well, your schedule week in and week out is tough enough. Why would you schedule those two? Well, I'll tell you what, I have a lot more fun preparing for Georgia Military and Snow than I would be preparing for a prep school. You can't get your kids up to play in the game. They don't want to play it. They're going through the motions for a week because they know they're going to blow them out. So here, week in and week out, we got to prepare our guys to come and play, and anybody can beat us on any given Saturday.
What about Scott Strohmeier is with us, Iowa Western head football coach. They are at Georgia Military this weekend in Milledgeville, Georgia. Stro, I want to bounce something off you that Coach Rule was talking about last week. He was sort of giving this, like, here's where we're at right now at the end of fall camp going into the season, and he was talking about how he feels like they have a whole team, a top group of guys who they trust to execute. And then they're looking for that next step, which is going out and making plays. What is that balance like for you right now with this group, or really just generally on a year-to-year basis, trying to find that balance of like, yeah, we need guys who can make plays, but we also need a bunch of guys that we could trust.
Yeah. And I think, like I said earlier, like we won a lot of games with guys we can trust. We weren't the most talented team at every game the last 2 years. We played more disciplined than them. And, East Mississippi, I think, had 8 or 9 guys going to the SEC. I didn't send one to the SEC. So,
yeah.
But it's playing hard every snap. And, we have some guys right now. I feel we have a good mix of guys that are going to give us their all in their discipline. And then we have some guys that they got to understand, like, a couple of guys transferred, one transferred from another junior college. We've got another one that transferred from a 4-year school. And like I told them the other day, like, you maybe can get away with that at your previous school. Okay. They also won 3 games, right? So if you want to come here, like, we have to get our 2s to play like they want to be starters.
Yeah.
And rather than just be complacent at being a 2, like, try to beat the guy out ahead of them. And if you put yourself in that position, we got a chance. And, we're deep at some spots. We're thin at some others, just like every coach in America is going to tell you. We got to stay healthy. But I'm excited to see some of these guys. Like I said, in the scrimmage was kind of tough because it was like our 2s and 3s on offense were going against their 1s, and they're a pretty good football team. So you leave that scrimmage thinking, oh, my gosh, well, we can stop anybody. And then, their 1 defense took it to our 2 offense, So we did some good things, though. We saw some young guys step up, and we also found some guys that, hey, right now you hurt yourself a little bit because you're not playing disciplined football.
Yeah.
At a specific position.
Can you see it, like, individually in guys? Can you see it when it really, like, clicks for them? Like, oh, okay, we could trust them to go out and play and play fast, not just like they're doing their assignment right, but they're also, like, not thinking, they're just playing. Can you see that when it happens?
Yes, you do. You do, and it's even if it's a spurt in practice where you see that kind of click. Sometimes it has to be in games. You'd be surprised how many times in my time here that we've seen it click in a JV game.
Yeah,
where they're just out there playing, where they didn't have a chance to go play a varsity game yet because maybe they made those mistakes. But then you put them in a JV game, and all of a sudden he's a different player. But again, we have to make decisions here by Thursday on our 40 out-of-state players and our other 30 that are going to travel with us. And sometimes you can only go off of practice film and what you think. And, the one we try to do as much live stuff as we can, but, still got to tackle somebody and still got to cover your kickoff lanes and block the person in front of you and punt, where you do it in practice, but they're going to give us different looks.
How's Hunter Decker's been for you this summer and into the fall?
He's been good. I mean, we all know what type of talent he has, and he's played on a big stage, and but really gives us a different element that we maybe haven't had in a while, of throwing the football. And he's really smart, intelligent. And we've already had 4 NFL scouts here, at practices, and there's already some that are coming to games. So he's got that ability. The biggest thing about him is, a lot of times when you get bounced back down, a guy who's played in 20-some games in the Big 12 to now do JUCO, that they think they're bigger than where they're at. And he's fit in with all the guys, and they like him. And he doesn't come across as I was at, this school. I played against this school,
right?
Or whatever it was. He just wants to play, and this is his opportunity to get one last play in before hopefully getting a chance to play after. I told him whenever it gets done, he wants to coach. I think I have a spot that I could probably bring him into.
That's usually a good sign.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to pick your brain about that. How do you kind of keep motivating Hunter? Like if he gets down a little bit, like, hey, it's not just your shot that is on the line. Like the wide receiver shot is, a little bit in Hunter's hand, the linemen, their shots to go to a 4-year school or wherever is a little bit in Hunter's hand. Like, how do you get him to not get too down on him? It sounds like he's not, but how do you keep him motivated?
Yeah. I think just like I said, he loves to play the game. So the big thing for him is there's going to be some frustration, and you can tell he gets frustrated sometimes at a guy for not running the right route, or he should have broke it this way or that way, or did this or that. And we consistently have conversations with him, like, this guy right here, like he's going to make a mistake, but we got to correct him. And how we handle him is a little bit different than how we can handle this other guy that you're a roommate with, when you guys talk every day. So I don't know. I mean, I guess the big thing is we find out a lot on Saturday, and hopefully, it doesn't cost you in the games, but we're going to know a lot more about this football team Saturday afternoon, and to see where we got to go from there.
I want to ask you one last one here. It's about a guy who's not on your roster. He's on Nebraska's. John Hull might be doing some kicking for Nebraska this coming Saturday. What was being around him for the year? And I guess, what do you think of him as a player and as a person?
Well, he's a great kid. I was upset when we lost him.
Yeah.
We knew redshirting him. We just did, because he was a border state kid, so we had to really redshirt him. We had an in-state kid that gave us was solid, and so we wanted to redshirt him, be our kicker. He was supposed to go to Coastal Carolina, and then all of a sudden flips it at the last minute to Nebraska, and doing a really good job. I knew he was gonna have a shot. Now I wish I would have kicked him more last year, but I never did. But now he's got 4 years to play, and we're always in favor of guys if they get the opportunity they want. And with a kicker, you need a place to give you a shot, because not everyone takes one every year like a D lineman. So once you get your opportunity, you got to be ready to go. And obviously, his dream school, and now getting a chance. But I wasn't surprised when I seen him listed as the number 1 kickoff guy.
Scott Strowmeier, head coach of Iowa Western. All right. 2-time defending national champion. That's a good thing, but there's also a target on your back, So
we got to be ready, because then no one's going to take it easy on us.
No doubt about it. Nobody's going to take it easy on Josh either when he wears all of his rings to the broadcast on Saturday.
I've been told those are banned from the broadcast.
Stro, good to chat as always.
Yes,
have fun this weekend. Have fun this year.
Okay, thanks. Thanks for having me.
Scott Strowmeier of the Iowa Western Reavers.
Not the only Reaver who will be at Memorial Stadium on Saturday. Alex Szczesniak, linebacker for UTEP.
Oh, I did not know that.
There you go.
Thank you. Alex Szczesniak. Do we know his status? Is he playing?
I don't know.
Okay. I haven't looked at UTEP's depth chart yet.
Oh, got to get into it.
I'm going to take a quick look at that.
Big minor overreaction.
Yeah. We got to call that show. We talk about going to Dion's press conference. We got to go to that, guys.
That's right.
Scotty Walden. I'm just getting familiar with all the names for this week. It's hard to we're balancing the fact with it's preseason with also it's game week. Good to talk to Stroh. We'll do that a few times throughout the season this year. They're going to be pretty good. I mean, as they usually are, but having that quarterback, that's just something that nobody else really has.
They don't. Yeah. They've got a guy no one else has got.
Yeah.
And if they're as good as they usually are at the other positions, could be special.
Interesting sort of like balance though between like what are you kind of going for, adjusting to your team and all that stuff. I thought that was good stuff from him. All right, quick time out here. We'll come back. We will talk to Allan Bell at the bottom of the hour. A few things to clean up on the other side. The Conor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone. It is indeed Red Out Week. It's our annual celebration of It's a Celebration! Nebraska's first game of the year on Saturday. Red Out Week will conclude with a Thursday chicken wing eating contest.
Oh, hello.
Featuring Nick Grimm versus Josh Hodson.
Whoa.
Yep.
I didn't know I was.
I don't know. It was in the script. They told me to read it.
Interesting.
So you're going to want to come out to Oscars to see that. Nick will say that he could eat 10 chicken wings in 4 seconds, and he'll be drastically incorrect.
I didn't know I had to chew so much.
Red Out Week brought to you by Union Bank and Trust. Join us on Thursday from Oscars as we have a celebration. As it is every single year in our annual roundtable, or I guess a biannual roundtable now.
That's right.
We're doing spring game. We're doing first game of the year.
Maybe we'll do a bowl game.
I was talking about the Royals earlier. We only have a couple minutes here, so forgive me. We need to squeeze a topic into these 5 minutes here. By the way, Star Wars Fiend writes in, over under Nick Grimm finishes 2.5 wings in 5 minutes. He could eat 2.5 wings in 5 minutes.
I think so.
I have a fair amount of confidence in that. Yeah, Nick could do that. We make fun of Nick, but he could eat that. He could do that. All right, let's go to the Royals broadcast yesterday. Where we played you the montage of Rex Hudler making noises every time a ball was about to go out of the yard. We played that last week. Here's a pretty good one yesterday with our dear friend Young Jake on the call. In the 3-3 game in the 8th as Bobby Witt Jr. steps to the plate.
The year he has been one of the best relievers in the game this season.
Man, oh man, he's only given up 3 home runs. 4.
In the air, deep to left center field. Quan to the track, turns around, it's out of here.
Believe it.
Bobby Witt Jr. gives the Royals the lead.
That's one of the best parts of that. The other best part is, of course, when Jake gets done saying he's only allowed 3 home runs. Yeah, that's pretty impressive.
4.
As he's swinging the bat, Hud is on one right now. He is really on one. We've been dying for competitive, important baseball in September, and Hud is so ready for it. He's very prepared for it.
I mean, he just knew.
We've been dying to have a player like Bobby Witt Jr. That much is for sure.
You got a superstar. Top 10.
1 game back in the Central, an 89% chance to make the playoffs, 6.5 games clear of a playoff spot, 4 games behind the Yankees for the best record in the American League. I'm not putting a ceiling on this. But I wondered, can the formula of just hopping on Bobby Witt Jr. and Salvador Perez's back and letting it ride work? The rotation is it's come back to the mean a little bit.
Reagan's okay?
I think it was just a cramp.
That's what I'm hearing. But
and then Lugo's been a little shaky lately. Singer had the blow up start. Those guys have packed on major innings. So the formula for the Royals to get to where they want to go in the last month of the season here, month and a half of the season as they started this stretch, was probably going to have to be hop on Bobby and Salvy's back and see what happens. And man, yesterday was a good illustration of that. A go-ahead home run in the 8th by Bobby Witt Jr. in game 1.
Clutch.
And a 6th inning grand slam from Salvador Perez in game 2.
Sonic
slam, which earned somebody from some weird town in Missouri $25,000 from Sonic and the Royals.
Impressive.
Yeah. It's good. It's good, Josh. Very excited. That's all. We did this whole segment just to say I'm very excited. I probably already said that.
And it's coming in the stretch of the murderer's row of 20 games against highly competitive teams.
I know. That's why I'm trying not to get too high here.
Mm-hmm.
Because I still think
You're still in the first half of that 20 game stretch, right?
I still think yes. Mm-hmm. They're only 5 games into it.
Okay.
They're in the first quarter of it. So I think I think it would still be quite the success story if they ended up 500 at the end of this long stretch where they play a lot of playoff contenders. But you ride the roller coaster when you have a successful baseball team. That's it. And I'm on it, and I can't get off. I'm not going to jump out that window like I said I was going to do yesterday.
No, Don't do that.
The window of me being on the Royals thing is just not going anywhere.
You're watching October baseball.
I think so.
Mm-hmm.
I think so. Now we gotta find a way to get me to one of those games.
Now, Connor,
because I went to the greatest postseason game of all time ever played.
That's true. You did. I'm gonna pull the curtain back a little bit here before we go to break. I had to create the sports schedule. What games are going to air on what stations?
What did you do?
I had to calculate when the American League baseball playoff games are, because we would air them.
Yep.
So, Creighton volleyball. Thank your lucky stars that the AL teams aren't playing a lot on Sundays.
And as we saw last year, I think the Diamondbacks are giving everybody hope if you just get to the dance.
Last 2 MLB seasons has been a little bit of a random champion generator.
I mean, when you don't have a situation where you're, putting the best team straight to the league championship series, anybody can win. Anybody can win.
Why not us?
Yeah.
Or you, I guess.
Yeah. Why? Yeah. Well, why not you two?
My team will be in there. I am pretty sure.
Okay. You don't sound like you like it very much. What about Marcell Ozuna?
How is he leading the National League in batting average?
And you all can thank Bobby Witt Jr. for this. He's not going to win the MVP because Babe Ruth is.
Sad.
But Babe Ruth, aka Aaron Judge. But he will save you from your hell of waking up every day and having to hear that Aaron Judge won the Triple Crown in 2024.
Oh, my goodness.
Thank you, Bobby Witt Jr. He is the only person standing in between that right now.
If a Yankee won the Triple Crown,
yes,
oh, my gosh.
It'd be horrible for everyone. Horrible for everyone.
Great point.
So thank you, Bobby.
Thank you, Bobby. Thank you, Bobby.
All right, coming up, we'll talk to Allan Bell. Still plenty of other thoughts today on the show, including our prediction of the day today. We'll be back after this on the Conor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone. Wanted to remind you about our half-off deal this week. It is to Copal, 129th and Maple. It's the best kept secret, but we're making it public. Not anymore. Best kept secret no longer, ladies
Secret's
and gentlemen.
Out.
Weekend brunch on both Saturdays and Sundays. Sunday fun day, all day happy hour Sundays. 2 $25 vouchers, which is a $50 value for just $25. You can find all the details for this week's Zone deal and find the sale on Friday at 9, 1620thezone.com.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money.
Allan Bell, the AB3 on the Conor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
That is right. Let's chat with our dear friend Allan Bell, it's about to be AB season because football is here, ladies and gentlemen. We have football games this past weekend. We got football games coming up this weekend. The first week of the NFL is next weekend. We're very excited. AB, good morning, my friend. How are you?
Good morning, sir. Doing fantastic. How's our favorite little blob doing over there? Everybody good?
Blob's good. Blob's figuring out that she could cry and get anything she wants. So,
smart girl.
Yeah.
You know what? Yeah. Look, that's what a 5-star does. All right? you got things going on in life. You're like, look, I need you people to bring me these things. This is what we need. Let's go.
Yep. You got to use the tools that you have in the toolbox, and she's definitely doing that right now. Okay, I wanted to give you a shout out. So you got Cash It, and we also came up last year with Trash It. But I wanted to just bring this to light real quick. Yesterday on your podcast, you said that I have an Aaron Judge bet that nobody in the world is going to bet today.
Yep.
And then I listened to that podcast, and here's what it said. It said, I, Allan Bell, am taking Aaron Judge to strike out more than 1.5 times today. And Aaron Judge did not strike out more than 1.5 times yesterday. He struck out 1 time. But I wanted to commend you for being the only person on planet Earth to take Aaron Judge over on strikeouts like the hottest hitter on the planet right now.
Yeah, hey, you know what? I appreciate it. We almost got there.
I know.
Too, right? Like, we almost got there, too, which is going to be wild. But no, man, like, that's the thing is it's I mean, you guys know it. You guys all have played sports. Like, you go on a run, and you need a day off. You know what I mean? Like, you can't sit him because he's so hot. But the minute that, like, that it tails off, it's like, okay, all right, give the guy a day off. I was like, man, there's going to come a time where we're going to have to fade him. We almost hit it.
Almost, it would have been. I didn't check yet. I know he struck out once. Like, was he any 2-strike counts after that? Oh, okay.
Oh, so twice.
Oh,
right?
no.
And here's the thing. All right, so one of them was in the first inning or the fourth inning. I can't remember which one. He grounded into a double play with 2 strikes. I was like, oh man, come on! Like, we just needed a strikeout. That would have actually helped the team right there, man. Come on, Aaron.
That would have been huge. We would have never forgotten about that on this show if we would have hit that.
200, man. Yeah,
that would have been nice. All right, AB, we got a kind of a week of college football underneath our belts today. As I can imagine, everyone was watching or thinking about, like, the one game that anybody cared about was the Florida State Georgia Tech thing. Even I take great. I think it's fun watching teams who I don't really have to think about on a daily basis, don't really care about how good they are, but spent the entire last year talking about how they should have made the playoff and they got screwed and all this stuff, and they're going to run roughshod over everybody this year. Lose immediately, week 0 in Ireland. Yeah. I personally enjoyed that quite a bit.
Oh, yeah. Let me say this. Any Nebraska fans out there, feel free to join with Tennessee fans because we've all gone through hell on earth for a long time. So I'm not worried about somebody's one bad game. I'm going to laugh at you, but no. Look, man, it was tough for Florida State to go 4,000 miles.
I've been there. Been there.
Yep, 100%, man. It's tough. Look, me and my dad were talking about it, like, during the game, and it brought up one big point that, we all look at, like, NIL and we look at the transfer portal and all that stuff's great. Like, nothing negative against it, but recruiting is still king. You can't fill your team with 20 transfers that are starting. You know what I mean? Like, you've got to build your team through recruiting, and you get stuck in positions to where Florida State's quarterback can't play. I don't know what in the world Mike Norvell was watching, but I'm not believing in DJU.
Yeah, I actually think he's fine. Like, I think he's okay, but they just didn't let him do anything,
Yeah. Okay, you bring up a good point. Because it's like, that was my issue too, is it was like, it's the Jordan Love offense with Green Bay to where every single pass is 6 yards and in. Now, is that, indicative of Jordan Love? No, Jordan Love's out of the quarterback.
Yeah.
Right? But it's like, okay, well, are you going to let him throw, or are you scared for him to throw? Like Malik Willis with the Titans, when they're like, middle throws. It was like, literally, you run the ball. We just want to lose and get out of here.
Yep.
So, yeah, man, like, yeah, I agree with you on that point. Like, they just didn't let him do anything.
Yeah, but there are situations where you say, no, not today. We're not going to do this. I just don't think, and maybe they thought that they weren't going to get that much of a test physically from Georgia Tech, but it was clear their plan was, all right, let's run the ball. We're going to throw, sideways passes the entire game, or we're going to get out of here with our 21-7 win and fly back home and start the season after that. But it didn't work out.
No, it did. They were owned on both lines, man. Georgia Tech was ready for that game. Now, all right, here's a quick question. All right, so and apologies if I pronounce the name incorrectly, okay? Former Nebraska lineman Cam Jurgens.
Yes.
Jurgens.
Yes.
I spoke about him on the show today as the most important player in the NFC East. All right? Can play center, can play guard for the Eagles. They lose Kelsey. They want to run the football. We know how important, the tush-push is on third downs and fourth downs for Hurts. But Saquon Barkley running the football. But then I went into his story, like looking more. It's unbelievable. He had his own beef jerky company. Yeah, like
beef. Beef jerky.
yeah. And then, like, I was reading on the Eagles website that during the draft, his grandmother was in a tornado warning, and she's like, "I ain't moving anywhere from this television. I'm watching him get drafted." I was like, I love this guy. He's my new favorite player in the NFL.
Okay, so he's from Beatrice, Nebraska, and he was a really highly recruited tight end going in his high school career. Really highly recruited tight end. And Scott Frost, the head coach at the time, had this idea, and he just said it one day. He goes, "I think this guy could be like an elite center." And so they did that. They put him at center, and he was very, very good at all the pieces of being a center, except for snapping the ball. He could not snap it to the quarterback correctly. This lasted parts of 2 seasons. It was a problem for Nebraska. But the rest of the stuff was very, very good. So does it surprise me? I mean, he was a second-round pick. Like, not surprising at all that he is. I mean, he's going to be a really, really good pro. Like, if that's the guy who you think the hopes of this team kind of hinges on, I don't know. I would bet on him because he's a really good player. It was Scott Frost's like one big thing he went on a limb on and ended up being correct.
I was gonna say, like, I don't know the attitude feelings towards Scott Frost. I think I do. I think I've got a pretty good feel on it, right? But it's like, that's so random. But he was spot on with it. I mean,
he nailed it.
He's gonna be a very important part of that Eagles offensive line. I mean, already is, right? Like that dude, like, what a call by Scott Frost on that one. That's a good one right there.
He absolutely knocked it out of the park with that. There was not very many times he did that during his time here, but he knocked it out of the park with that.
That's one. We'll give him that one.
Hey, I was looking at Tennessee's schedule coming up.
Yeah.
They're starting out with Chattanooga, and then they have NC State, Kent State in the non-con before the SEC gauntlet begins with a trip to Oklahoma. That'll be a lot of fun, by the way. The total on Tennessee is 8.5. I've seen a lot of Tennessee playoff buzz. Like, they got it all figured out here. What are you feeling about the Vols this year?
I'm not going that high. Now, look, Tennessee will be a good football team. Okay, like that number, I think 8.5 is very market efficient. It'll be 8 or 9 wins, right? They're better on defense. Really, what it is Josh Heupel's built up the depth. All right, Tennessee's problem is that they'd have a stud on the D line, and they'd even have a second team. You know what I mean? Like, guys were gassed, right? So he's got depth on the defense. There's going to be some good players, but the big thing to remember is that on the offense, you're replacing a running back. You're replacing 2 running backs, actually. The quarterback, Nico Lima,
nice.
That was actually pronounced correctly. Like, it's a very difficult last name to say. He's he started one game in the bowl game,
Mm-hmm.
right, against Iowa. Now, Iowa didn't care. You know what I mean? Tennessee won that game, whatever. But he's a young kid, man, and he does some really good things, right? Some very good things. He also does some very rookie things, right? So, long story short, I'd take the over at 9. But if you're going to get plus money on under 8.5, that is a bet worth taking. That you're like, okay, if I lose it, fine. I'm good with that. The price of admission here is worth it for me because the schedule's tough too, man, and they're breaking in a lot of young guys.
No doubt about it. It's always a gauntlet going through that. Allan, next week we will talk about week 1 of the NFL. Oh my goodness. I cannot wait. Ravens Chiefs on Thursday. Do we have a lean yet? Kansas City -3.
Kansas City -3. Give it to me all day long.
Yeah, I think so too.
I'll say this though. The over in that game. They'll score a lot of points. There'll be a lot of points being scored.
46.5 right now. Okay, yeah, we're leaning over. We'll chat about it next week. Can't wait. Talk to you later.
Look, see you, buddy.
Allan Bell of the AB3 Driving the Line, the whole thing. The podcast is very entertaining. These guys come up with nuggets that you would not believe. There's like, where you, how do you watch all this stuff? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that, but I'm glad they do because then I could just listen to them.
Love the big swing of Aaron
Judge over 2 strikes.
Yeah, that was probably a very.
He was going for it.
Very high plus.
Yeah, I think he said 200, which is kind of surprising. I mean, that's a big number for baseball.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, and shout out to the Cam Jurgens respect.
Really knew his stuff on Cam.
He was thinking about Cam Jurgens being the most important player of the NFC East this year. He might not be wrong. Tony White has distributed black shirts.
He has.
To 12 lucky winners.
But Connor, only 11 players play on defense.
That is true. So here are the black shirts this year. Ty Robinson, Nash Hutmaker, Jamari Butler, John Bullock, Mekhi Bayer, MJ Sherman, Tommy Hill, Isaac Gifford, Malcolm Hartzog, Deshaun Singleton, Marquise Buford, which almost all of those guys are single-digit number guys, and the 12th, Cam Lenhart.
There it is.
Black shirts, throw the bones. That's what they're doing. They're throwing the bones.
They are.
All day long. The extra black shirt goes to Lenhart, who's being treated as a starter. Happy Black Shirt Day to all who celebrate.
Congrats, everyone.
Now we can finally get on with it. All right, back after this, Josh has the odd news on 1620 The Zone.
And now we've reached the point in the show where Josh Odson reads the peculiar, the bizarre, the comical, the odd news with Odd Son. Odd news, Odd Son. See what we did there? The odd news with Oddson.
It's the odd news with Odd Son. Get it?
That's me. Hello.
Josh.
Connor.
Yeah, today.
O.J. Simpson update.
You sure about that?
I am. He lives on.
No.
Well,
he doesn't.
Sort of. Malcolm Laverne, OJ's longtime lawyer and now executor of his estate. Executor, not executor.
Thank you.
Big difference.
Yep.
Has informed the public that the Juice's remains have been transformed into jewelry and divvied up among his 4 adult children.
That's not a bad idea. What's it
for people? Yes,
in
that's
the
not
form
a
of
bad
what?
idea. Simpson was cremated back in April following his death, and we're told his kids have signed off on having his father's ashes turned into an assortment of jewelry. Written consent was provided by the lawyer. Malcolm didn't want to say exactly what kind of pieces the children got, but typically it's necklaces or bracelets. Your thoughts?
Okay. You just left that sentence in it. I just thought you were going somewhere else.
Yeah.
That's fine. What's wrong with that? The kids want a piece of their dad with them.
So for regular people, there's nothing wrong with it. For acquitted murderers,
you
might want to
keyword, Josh.
You might want to say, you know what? You can
dad.
go. You can go. It's fine.
That's their dad.
Not everyone likes their dad, Connor.
Not everyone likes their dad, but in this case, they did like their dad.
They did.
It seemed like anyway.
Sure does seem that way. This process costs around $4,200 with the cost of cremation, jewelry, and death certificates. Malcolm is trying to liquidate most, if not all, of OJ's assets to pay off the mountain of debt he's left behind.
Sure.
Of which there is a lot.
I would imagine so. Mm-hmm. He lived he lived above his means.
He did.
For a while. Meaning that I don't know what his means were. How did he make money? Just being OJ? After nobody would hire him. Yes, after the unpleasantness. Yes.
You pick which unpleasantness.
So for the rest of his life, he was just OJ.
Yeah.
So,
appearance fees.
Yeah.
Hertz, rent-a-car residuals.
Yeah. Not much else going on there. So
No.
it makes sense that he was in some debt.
Yeah. NFL pension, of course. A Florida woman was arrested for walking around her neighbor's birthday party in the nude. Grace Ann Sharp, 56 years young, charged with indecent exposure. The incident happened Sunday in Pensacola as her neighbor was having a birthday party. The report stated the neighbor told deputies around 7 p.m. that Sharp walked up naked to the chain link fence that separates the two properties.
Mm-hmm.
She was reportedly waving around plastic doll legs.
Let me guess. Meth.
I don't have the results of that.
Unbelievable.
Seems like a fair guess.
Yeah.
Then she rubbed the legs on herself.
Sure. Meth. Definitely meth. Meth minus 550.
And then, according to the report, when the neighbor said, "Excuse me, ma'am, I don't know if you know this. I don't know how you couldn't know this, but you are naked right now." Grace Ann Sharp replied, "I know. It's hot outside."
Same.
It's not a joke. It's a direct quote.
Yeah.
Story.
Yeah, I wouldn't. How would you react? If you're
I would probably just go inside. Like just
I'd avoid it.
Just
absolutely.
Yep.
You don't have to deal with that.
Like, I don't even necessarily need like the police to get involved
If
and
it happens
take you away.
If it happens a few times, then you're probably going to want to get a third party involved.
Right.
But as of right now, yeah, let's just hope that it's a one-time deal and we'll just let her be.
Definitely.
That's a good way to approach it.
We in the odd news in the UK today. Hundreds of revelers are descending on a pub this week for the World Gravy Wrestling Championships.
That sounds gross.
The international competition, named one of the top 10 weirdest sports, doesn't say by who though, sees 16 men and 8 women battle in a sauce-soaked ring. 528 gallons of gravy are used at the event.
Is gravy sauce?
Poll question.
I don't like that question because it is awfully close to another question that I hate.
Oh, yes.
But is gravy
okay.
sauce?
The event is held
The answer
annually
is no. Gravy is gravy.
At the Rose and Bowl Pub.
Gravy's not sauce. And gravy can't be sauce. You know, when you go to Dairy Queen and you get the gravy, you don't say, they don't ask what kind of sauce do you want. They say, what kind of sauce do you want? Do you want ranch, barbecue, or do you want the gravy? It's a different thing.
Okay.
Sauce, gravy is not sauce.
I think I'm with you on that. Competitors who wear fancy clothes aim to win the championship title by beating their opponent during a 2-minute-long wrestling match. The final winners of the tournament will be decided by a panel of 4 experienced judges. I have no idea what that means. Who will decide the winner on their wrestling skills and fancy dress costume.
Oh.
Hilarious pictures show from the competition the wrestlers jumping on top of each other, wrestling. 2 women were also spotted hugging each other in the wrestling ring, if you're into that sort of thing.
Sure.
While a referee pours gravy on their heads.
Yeah, I never really get the whole, when they put ladies into there and they wrestle in like Jello or that's not hot.
That segment of old school confused me.
Yeah. Who came up with that idea?
Hey, you know what would make this hotter?
Jello.
Gravy. Baby oil.
No. Just no. Hey, we don't kink shame.
No, you do you. The 2 winners, one from the female category and one from the male side, will each win $66.
Oh, that's worth it.
And have their name engraved on the trophy.
You could buy a couple sandwiches with that. $66.
$66.
Well, hopefully they don't put too much hard work and effort into being good at gravy wrestling.
I mean, do you specifically train for gravy wrestling at home, or do you just do like wrestling in a kiddie pool in the backyard and like, okay, I'll adapt to the gravy when I get there?
I think you just probably look at that and you say, I might be okay at that, and then just go do it without any sort of expertise or experience doing so.
Now, if this was here in Omaha, I feel like we would send a representative of 1620 The Zone to participate in the contest.
Yeah, I would take my name out of the running for that.
Many are saying John Bishop would be our representative.
John is pro gravy, right?
Yes.
He's anti-mayonnaise,
yes,
pro
that's
gravy.
Right. Josh Peterson just getting into the gravies.
That's right. He just discovered gravy last week or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I get a tweet here from J Test Dummy.
Hi, J Test Dummy.
My Italian in-laws call pasta sauce gravy.
Oh yeah, you got that Sunday gravy?
Well, maybe I'm wrong then. Is there? I guess what I was explaining to you is the opposite. Gravy is not sauce, but is sauce gravy.
Not all.
I mean, like you're with me here, right? Gravy is not sauce.
Yes,
gravy is not sauce. It's gravy. You can't dip it. I don't know what the reasoning is, but gravy is not sauce. But sauce might be gravy.
Not all gravies are sauces, but all. No, that's not right either. We're tinkering with this. We're still tinkering.
A gravy can, a sauce can be gravy, but a gravy can't be a sauce. Something like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, Well, I have a couple notes here from Marcus Satterfield and others here momentarily. Here's one. We won't spend much time on this, on the transfer tight end that we just spoke about earlier, that all you guys want us to know about, Mac Markway. Quote from Marcus Satterfield.
The difference maker.
He showed up to school, and here he is. That is a real quote from Marcus Satterfield. He showed up to school, and here he is.
Boy, it sure doesn't sound like they said, hey, why don't you come on down, buddy? Like he went into business for himself.
No, I think that, whatever. Like, you know, you got a new player. You don't know anything about him. You don't want to say anything about him. You just met him. Maybe. You might not have met him at all. He showed up to school. Here he is. He exists. Elsewhere, coming back after the break, we'll have our predictions on the run-pass ratio.
Okay.
We'll also have a quote from Marcus Satterfield on potential Heine usage. How will they use our Heine this year? Find out next on 1620 The Zone.
He gives you the latest sports news, interviews, and life-changing commentary with a smile on his face. Because he wears those ticklish underpants. Let's get back to the Conor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
A surprising amount of responses to the gravy question. Many people have chimed in on this. We're embracing debate here on the Conor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
You got to know before you go.
Norm says this. His take is this.
Norm!
Sauces can be eaten cold from the fridge. Gravy is only eaten warm.
Okay. Yeah.
And that makes it the difference between gravy and a sauce. Aaron says gravy is sauce because all sauces are toppers. Gravy and Sunday gravy, aka marinara sauce, are a topper. That's the way I perceive it. Yeah, but Aaron, there are some sickos who every time, this is the closest I come to throwing up. When people have their plate of whatever, chicken tenders, French fries,
say it,
and they take the ketchup bottle and they dump the ketchup on the French fries. What are you doing? What are you doing? So in that case, they're turning a, first of all, disgusting condiment, but from a dippable into a toppable thing that you put on top. And that, my friends, is as sick as it gets. Disgusting. So, I don't know, Aaron. You tell me. People are making ketchup a topper these days. Idiots, I should say. But
children.
Children. But they are doing that. Text from the 316.
Hi, 316.
In Arkansas, they have chocolate gravy. At least that's what they call it. It's actually just chocolate sauce. They put it on biscuits. Are you serious? What's happening in Arkansas?
Sounds like a lot.
Text from the 757.
Hi, 757.
That doesn't make any sense. If a sauce can be a gravy would in fact be a sauce. It's Einstein's theory, biscuits and sauces.
But we can agree they're different, right?
It's just like just like the hot dog. Is chili soup? No, it's chili. No, it's chili. So I just don't know. I don't need people, news articles, whatever, out there calling gravy a sauce. It's gravy. It's gravy.
I'm with you.
We don't need to get into technicalities. Don't need to think about it too much. It's just gravy. Some more tweets.
Oh,
Joel.
Hi, Joel.
Remember gravy, maybe gravy is sauce, but we've overdone sauces to the point that our brains can't comprehend it. We've definitely overdone sauces.
Yeah. What if, follow me on this, you cooked your meat to a point where it was still juicy and did not need a sauce on everything? I'm not like a child.
Now, okay, I wouldn't go that far because I think there's places where you could, there's places in the food world where you could put sauces on things that could exist without sauce.
Mm-hmm. Oh, sauce has its place in the world.
I don't need to drench whatever it is in the sauce. Like if you're dunking your entire chicken wing into the ranch, letting it soak for a few minutes and then bringing it back out. See, then you're not actually eating chicken wings. You're just eating ranch.
It doesn't matter what I eat every day. I'll cook whatever because I'm just dumping it in ranch.
Yeah, that's
my pizza, my wings.
Congratulations on turning 18 years old and getting your own dorm for the first time. Nice job. But
went to Costco. My mom took me to Costco, bought me a thing of ranch.
R writes in.
Hi, R.
When they use gravy for the base on breakfast pizza, doesn't that make it a sauce? In that context, it is a sauce.
Yeah.
In that context, it is a sauce.
Can be used as a sauce, but
generally not a sauce.
You're right.
It is an uncommon sauce.
Uncommon sauce. Ooh.
That's a good band name.
Yeah. Nick!
Yeah, put that on the list. Jeff writes in.
Hi, Jeff.
Looking forward to Josh Peterson's take on this.
He's new. You can't trust him.
Yeah, I don't trust him on.
Can do.
I don't trust him on gravy-related topics. Jeremy.
Hi, Jeremy.
If somebody asked you to put some sauce on their potatoes, would you feel like they would need to karate chop them? What does that mean?
I think he's on your side where if I say, hey, I need some sauce on these potatoes, you would not You would say, why are you saying that? What?
Oh,
you
like,
want
I
gravy.
hurt them. I got
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
Yeah, no. Also, don't put the sauce on the potatoes. Put it next to them and dip them in there.
But I think
if you're going to have this,
I think he's saying, why would you ask for a sauce when you mean gravy?
Correct.
Yeah.
Indeed. Yes, I agree with that as well. Albino Tornado writes in,
Hi, Albino Tornado. Also great band name.
gravies are solid at room temperature. Sauces are liquids. Gravy isn't solid at room temperature. Gravy can harden.
Thicken.
Yeah, thicken. And I guess to his point, a sauce wouldn't do that.
Uh-huh.
A sauce would not do that. So maybe therein lies your difference. So what is the form that your sauce/gravy takes when it gets old? That's how you know if it's a sauce or a gravy.
I had to throw away a bottle of horsey sauce last night. And
Ew.
Looked fine. I didn't know. And I said,
You
this
throw-
is expired.
I wouldn't throw away immediately an expired condiment.
What if it was...
I wouldn't. I would take a look and I would evaluate.
What if it was 6 months past the date on the bottle?
I would take a look and evaluate.
Okay.
I would give it a sniff.
It looked fine.
Maybe dip a finger in there.
Didn't go those other routes.
I probably wouldn't have a problem with eating that.
Because we had a power outage.
I mean, it's already
recently.
horsey sauce.
Yeah.
This sauce is already room temperature when they give it to you.
That's true.
And it's in little tiny packets. How long do you think those packets are sitting there? Years?
I don't know. Luckily, I had one.
That's
good.
good.
I had a packet as
You
a
got
backup.
you got your packet corner of your refrigerator.
Yeah. Was trying to MacGyver some cocktail sauce.
A lot of people trying to make sense of this.
Mm-hmm.
And I unfortunately think we have contributed to our hot dog versus sandwich society.
It is very adjacent.
Yeah, I'm not happy about that. Not happy about that at all.
Charles asks, so the viscosity is the differentiator?
Apparently. I think that's the most airtight theory I've heard so far. It's the viscosity after serving temperature, whatever that might be. Okay, anyway, let's talk about football. I got some quotes from Mr. Satterfield regarding Heine, the Heine man. He says he's too good to just stand there and hold a clipboard. Too good to just stand there and hold a clipboard. Well, what do you mean by that, Mark? Do you mean he's going to be on the field? And to that, he said this, quote, Heinrich Haarberg is going to be out there on the field with Dylan a lot. A lot.
A lot.
So we can go ahead and put that fun little offseason storyline to bed. It's happening. Heinrich Haarberg is Taysom Hill.
Hello.
Remember when Random Mike called and said that? It's done. It's happening. He's Taysom Hill.
Boy, they really do listen to our show, don't they?
He's Taysom Hill. They're listening to Random Mike's calls.
Matt Rule loves Random Mike.
I think he listened to him in this scenario. Yeah. Okay, what is this? New Jersey calls cheese or spaghetti sauce gravy. This is from Scotty. New Jersey calls cheese or spaghetti sauce gravy.
That's right.
So it's not mac and cheese, it's mac and gravy or spaghetti and gravy. Is this true? What are you doing in New Jersey?
Well, they just call all those thick sauces gravy.
So like when Ramir Johnson's from New Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
He went to high school in New Jersey. If I were to ask him about mac and cheese, he would say, no, not mac and cheese, mac and gravy.
Could we ask Matt Rule about the same thing?
Yeah, I mean, he's a New Yorker. I don't know if this extends to New Yorkers
across the bridge.
Yeah, weirdos in Jersey doing that stuff.
Yeah, they were. I mean, they called gravy. Everything was gravy.
Everything is gravy. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, I guess I see where that works, but I don't know. Gravy is still gravy.
Those onion rings.
It's an Italian
in the finale. They were dipping them in gravy.
I'm Italian. I'm very Italian.
I'm
Look
very
at me.
Italian.
I'm extremely Italian.
Quarter Sicilian right here.
Are you?
Yeah.
A quarter?
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot.
It is.
Congratulations, Josh. You might be more Italian than me.
If I'm doing my math right.
I have no idea. All right. It's graphic time and it's prediction time.
Okay.
Run pass ratio, Josh. Run pass ratio.
Oh, yeah. I got to look at the notes here. Okay.
What will it be this year? Well, in order to get a ballpark of what you think it might be this year, we'd like to give you some context. So, without further ado, it's my first crack at graphic design. There it is. Take that thing off of there. Thank you.
It's off. It's off.
All right. So if you're watching along with this on YouTube, here are the Matt Rule coach team's pass run ratios with both the hard numbers and the sack adjusted numbers. What you'll notice is, Connor, why are these numbers in not straight lines down the columns? The answer is I didn't care enough to do it exactly right. And I didn't care enough to put special logo. I put the zone logo on there. All right, what do you want from me?
You got a big red N on there? Yeah.
You get the stats. I'm like the baseball reference of making graphics. It's just, here's the numbers. You do with them what you please.
Yeah.
All right, last year, Nebraska ran the ball. We'll just use the sack adjusted numbers here, which are in a straight line, by the way. Sack adjusted 60, almost 1% run. Josh,
Connor,
Nebraska won 5 games last year. They didn't have a pass game whatsoever. And I know Run the Ball guy is thinking in their house right now, watching us, they're thinking, oh, yeah, 60%, 60-40. That's beautiful. I'd actually like to be a little closer to 70 if we could get there. Wrong!
Brent Key has this graphic on Pornhub.
Wrong. You do not want to be close to 60. You do not want to be close to 70 because that means you suck at throwing.
And teams kind of know what you're going to do.
Indeed.
And can plan against it.
Now, the argument to it is, look at Michigan's run-pass ratio from last year. They were very good at running, and they were decent at throwing, too. Nebraska, from a bulk perspective, yards-wise, was pretty good at running, but not from an efficiency perspective, and especially not conventionally with its running backs. That was the highest run-the-ball ratio of Matt Rule's career as a head coach. 61%. They won 5 games a year ago. So my eyes are drawn to the seasons in which they were good.
Interesting.
If we're trying to get a good guess, a good look at what they might be this year, we assume that they'll be good, that they'll win some games this year. They won 10 in 2015 at Temple. They won 10 in 2016 at Temple. They won 11 in 2019 at Baylor. The Baylor year, the year that they went to the Big 12 championship game, was the only time that they had, double-digit wins, and they were more than 50% sack-adjusted pass. I think from these stats, what you'll learn is that Rule does a really good job of adjusting to whatever personnel he has. Now, he's at those places, at Temple and Baylor in those 7 years, I believe he only had like 2 full-time starting quarterbacks that entire time, which is kind of amazing. It was like Charlie Brewer and what's his name? Old backup from the Panthers, what was his name? I always forget his name, but he was fine. We're blanking. I'm blanking.
I have no idea.
Josh has got nothing. Anyway, somebody on the text line or the YouTube's going to have me on that one, because I don't want to look it up. The quarterback from Temple that he had, he was also his quarterback in Carolina. He was like the backup for a while, ended up becoming the starter with guys getting hurt. And all right. Thank you, PJ Walker. Jeez.
XFL zone.
It's about time you guys come through with me. Thank you.
Thank you, Donald.
That was a listener of the show who said PJ Walker. Thank you, listener of the show. Appreciate that. So here are the numbers, and Sal wrote it in there too. So Baylor in 19, they went over 50% pass. They felt like they could pass the ball pretty well. These are all sack adjusted numbers. But generally in Rule's career, they've been a little bit more pass heavy, but you'll notice in the 2 years at Temple, when they actually were good, they were a little bit more run heavy. Now, we compare this to last year at Nebraska, where they went over 60% on run. Spoiler alert, they are not going to do that this year. They will not be that high. If they are that high, we got big problems. Big problems. Which they won't be because the quarterback won't run nearly as much. So we're already going to take that out of it. I am thinking that we're going to be in the neighborhood. It's going to be really close. So I'm looking at that Baylor 19 season, and I kind of like what I see there. In the 51 to 52% range. 52-48, 51-49. I think they're going to pass it. That number is coming down quite a bit. Will they pass it more than they run it from a sack-adjusted standpoint? I think it'll be really close. But as we've been saying this entire offseason, I do think when their backs get up against the wall, they're in 3rd and 3. They got to convert to keep a drive alive. Otherwise, the other team gets it back and they get a chance to go down, score, and win, or whatever it might be. Like, I think their bread and butter, they want their bread and butter to be the run game, to be able to turn around and hand it off. Make no mistake about it. Even with their lack of running backs, they'll be able to run it fine this year. They're still looking for the guy to take a 4-yard carry into a 12-yard carry into an 80-yard carry. I don't think they have that. But I think by the time the season ends, they'll feel most comfortable putting the ball in Dylan Raiola's hands and those wide receivers. Theoretically, they stay healthy with Banks and Nair and Lloyd and all those guys. So I think, there's actually a chance that Nebraska passes it more than they run this year. Even with the sack-adjusted numbers.
So what is your number, Connor?
My number... now this will be the run number.
Okay.
This will be the run number. Sack adjusted. So we'll do this at the end of the year. 48.6. 48.6. So I think they will pass it more than they run it this year.
51.4 by my math.
On the pass.
Would be the pass?
Yep.
Okay.
They're going to pass it more than they run it.
I didn't get down to the decimal.
People are going to be triggered. Actually, I don't think they will be, because they'll be like, oh yeah, I guess that quarterback's pretty good. Let's probably pass it a little bit.
They love Dylon.
Yeah. And then they'll also realize, oh, we're probably not as efficient in the run game as we'd like to be right now. They're going to pass it more than they run it. I don't know why I feel that way, but I do. I just explained it. That'll be their bread and butter.
I also feel that way.
Okay.
Matt Rule is...
Give me a number.
He loves, like, hey, this is our best chance to win. I don't care if it's my scheme, your scheme, whoever's scheme. I'm going to play to the players. I'm going to go 55% pass.
You're going even higher.
Yeah.
Now, these would mirror some of Matt Rule's bad seasons, according to stats.
Oh, no. Tempo 16. Oh, wait. Nope. I flipped those.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Those are bad numbers.
Results have shown that when they stray too heavy in the pass category, they suck. And they do it because they have to.
I don't want them to suck.
In the season that was last year, they sucked, but they ran it, obviously, too much. Michael Severe writes into the show.
Hello, Michael Severe.
Do you think they get as many rushing attempts and or yards from the QB spot as Baylor did from Brewer, or the Temple guy got from, or that Temple got from PJ? So Charlie Brewer in 19 at Baylor ended up being their third leading rusher behind John Lovett and JaMychal Hasty. Sneaky late season fantasy ad, JaMychal Hasty, by the way, for a couple years there. Charlie Brewer led the team in rushing touchdowns in 19. 344 yards and 11 rushing touchdowns. He also added 21 passing touchdowns that year. So that's 32 total touchdowns with 7 picks, which are some pretty good numbers. 344 seems high to me. I'm not planning on 344. I do think he'll end up with the ball in his hands, but to the tune of What ends up being sack. So sacks not counted here. I don't know, maybe 3 carries a game or something like that. 3 little scrambles a game, 4 little scrambles a game. If you match that out over 12 games, we're talking about what, 35 to 50 carries this year. I do not think they'll get that type of production from that spot. I do think he'll do it when he can, but no, I don't think they'll get that from him. I go back to what was that good year? Temple 16.
10-win season.
Indeed. They had back-to-back. If we go back to Temple 16 for PJ Walker, Peach ran it for negative 100 yards. Negative 100 yards. I've been doing a lot more thinking about this recently. I do think Dylan will probably end up being above 0, but probably not far above 0. PJ Walker that year threw 22 touchdowns and almost 3,300 yards in his 14 games.
You've changed your tune a little.
But they had two 900-yard backs that year. I think Nebraska, I don't think they have 2 900-yard backs on their roster. So there you go. There's our prediction. Run-pass ratio. What do people think about it?
Brandon chimed in on the YouTube.
Okay.
As long as they win, I don't care what the percentage is.
Good.
I feel like a lot of people will feel that way.
Venmo Chris writes in.
Hello, Venmo Chris.
I believe these splits will anger the olds, and I, for one, am here for it. I wonder. I don't think people will actually be like. I think people would have been supportive if they, would have run the air raid offense and they won football games. I think we're kind of past that. I do think people are going to be mad at the idea that Nebraska is not going to be able to run for 3 yards when they need to run for 3 yards.
Yes, yes.
Because I think that might happen this year. It'll be in the hands of their quarterback a little bit more than they probably want it to. It'll eventually get to that point. So you can be mad at that idea. But what I don't want to hear is people saying, run the ball. Because the answer will be to that. It's like, why aren't they running the ball more? Why are they out of their shotgun on 3rd and goal? Here's why. Because having the ball in the quarterback's hands is the better option.
They have to.
Trying to get the ball to the receiver is the better option. I hope it's not painfully obvious that they straight up can't run the ball, but you got to, in that situation, everyone's going to know what you're going to do, and you have to still be able to do it. And in that case, I'd just rather have the ball I'd rather have the ball in the freshman's hands. That's all.
The
all
best player's hands.
Your thoughts when we return. Let's get this off the screen. Hi, we're back. Sorry, I took my shirt off while that was up.
It's really awkward.
We'll be back on the other side. Your guys' thoughts and more next on 1620 The Zone.
Let's get back to the Conor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
Here comes the clown.
Yeah, so the Chiefs are releasing. I guess they're relieving him as well
Of his duties.
He's fired. Kadarius Toney. Can I just say this? So this bothered me. Here's Ian Rappaport's tweet on the situation.
Hi, Ian.
Source: the Chiefs are waiving Kadarius Toney, but he'll have a market elsewhere. The talented playmaker's story isn't done yet. I hate that tweet. I just hate that tweet.
Okay.
That's just a stupid tweet.
Why are we injecting?
Why do we care? Yeah, why do we care
into the news?
Why do we care? We don't care about this with anybody else.
Many Giants fans are saying,
Are we supposed to feel bad for Kadarius Toney? He didn't do the right thing and dropped passes.
He might be bad at his job.
Yeah.
And Patrick Mahomes, you gotta get rid of that guy.
Stupid. Dylan Raiola speaking, by the way. He said he called his ma and pa after they told him he was a starting quarterback.
Dylan.
Yep. Nothing really notable from that so far. I'm sure he won't say anything really notable. But we do get a text here from Greg in Myrtle Beach.
Hi, Greg in Myrtle Beach.
Let's go Chanticleers. He says, I dare you to factor in any of middle school rule Panther statistical disasters into your equation. You can't handle the truth. Ha. That's what the text says. I have never looked at any stats for Matt Rule being the coach of the Panthers.
No carry.
Never cared about it. Should I? I don't know. Maybe it adds more context. This is the NFL. It's a different thing. COVID. I cannot handle the truth in that situation. I'll be honest with you. I haven't done my due diligence. I haven't sought the truth, to be honest with you.
You don't want to know the truth. You're like an ostrich.
Just because I think it is not applicable. I shouldn't say not applicable. It is not completely applicable.
Okay.
To Nebraska's situation. That's all. And I like how he failed. I do. I should say I like that he failed. I don't like how he failed. I like that he failed in Carolina.
Why? So that it afforded him the opportunity to come here?
No, because I think the right person takes that as a positive and learns a lot about themselves.
Okay.
What
works, what doesn't, what am I doing?
Yeah.
Hard reset.
Good time for reflection. That's all. What do I want? What do I want to do? And how do I be good at this? I think the right person will see the right things out of that thing. So that's not the worst thing in the world. But no, I cannot handle the truth. That much is for sure. Speaking of, so I saw this bowl projection today from The Athletic.
Yeah, you did.
So this will lead into another conversation entirely.
Okay.
But I do want to give you the stats here, or what they're telling us. College football preseason bowl projections, playoff picks, and bowl matchups, as given to you by The Athletic. They do not have Nebraska in the playoff, but they do have
cowards.
They do have Nebraska going to the Citrus Bowl,
a very fine bowl.
Last year, that bowl game was Iowa and Tennessee. Iowa went into that game with 10 wins last year. Tennessee went into it with 8. Tennessee won 35-0 for the record, because Iowa did not score points very, very predictably. That would be the Cheez-It Citrus Bowl, not the Cheez-It Bowl, the Cheez-It Citrus Bowl.
That's right. There's a difference.
I don't know what the coach gets dumped on him when you win the Citrus Bowl. Is it citrus or is it Cheez-It? I have no idea.
Good question.
I didn't watch close enough last year to make that determination. Should have asked Allan. That game's in Orlando, so it's a warm weather location, and it is New Year's Eve. We could celebrate our New Year's Eve in Orlando.
Oh.
We can go to Disney World, Josh. That could be fun.
Oh, that's a morning game, isn't it?
I believe that would be like at 11 o'clock.
So we couldn't do like a New Year's Eve celebration on Big Red Overreaction.
Unless you wanted Big Red Overreaction to last like 12 hours.
I don't.
Okay. I don't either. So, Tennessee won that game last year. That'd be a nice result, by the way. That'd be a nice result.
A lot of people very happy.
But guess who, of course, they are playing, according to this?
It's inevitable.
Texas A&M. So they predict Nebraska to be in their regional for baseball. They match up in basketball. They match up in women's basketball. And here they are again showing up at a bowl projection together. On its face, not a bad thing. But then it got me thinking about Trev again. I was going to rehash this a little bit. So have you noticed over the last couple weeks some just little tiny rule barbs shots in which my opinion are directed in the direction of Trev Alberts?
Whoa.
I think at this point, it is clear that they had their differences. Not that they were at odds about anything, but I think Rule seems to prefer the style of athletic directing that Mr. Yogurt is bringing to the table. That's just my observation. For example,
okay.
I don't think they saw eye to eye on things like alternate jerseys. Remember when Rule announced that last week on the radio show? He goes, yeah, it was just a philosophical thing. And who do we know? And Dave brought this up last week. Who do we know that has very strong opinions on Nebraska wearing alternate uniforms?
The all-sport man himself.
Indeed.
Trevor Alberts.
You know who was super duper against neutral site games?
Trevor Alberts?
Indeed. I think he was a bit scarred from the whole Ireland situation. He was, like myself, by the way. I'd be super against it for the record.
Hold on, just real quick. We don't talk enough about how that was an absolute disaster on and off the field.
Correct. One of the worst things that's ever happened.
Yes.
Just a disaster on all fronts. Matt Rule this week says, I was one of the people that was spearheading the charge to play Cincinnati at the big oil drum next year. Done.
That's right.
I don't think they saw eye to eye on that. I don't think they saw eye to eye on the stadium project. I think there was, there was things that Trev wanted to do to make the stadium an athletic department, like holistic venue that made money for it. Obviously, it was a long thing, a long drawn out process.
Don't touch my football stadium.
I think Rule thought like, this is a football field. Can we have grass? And the answer immediately when Mr. Yogurt took over was, yes, of course.
Wow.
Grass. It's your football stadium. And then I saw...
You're making me realize some things
and then I saw a tweet last night from Trev Alberts. And I see many tweets.
TV star?
He does many tweets, Trev. And he did his first ticket poll last night. What's a ticket poll? I would assume it's some sort of student lottery for football tickets to Texas A&M football games. And I tweeted out some pictures last night.
Wow, there's a lot of people here.
Yeah, a lot of people want. It's a gigantic student section. I think the biggest in the country.
Not a cult.
Definitely not a cult. Not at all. They do weird things down there. Trev's all about it. In these 4 pictures that he put out, 3 of them are of him. One of him staring off of his high balcony.
That's my favorite.
Me too. One of him very happily handing out treats to students, and then one of him posing for a picture with the student leadership group. Remember when Matt Rule was talking about the main character syndrome this week? He said he was talking about his team, and he said, we don't have anybody, we don't have any main character syndrome on this team. I think he said that on Saturday. We don't have main character syndrome. We don't have guys who, and then he gave this example of how 3 guys were wearing number 18, Nair, Prince Will, and Bushini. And, each of them said like, "Hey, I'd love to give the number up. Whatever needs to be done to do this, I'll do it. I have no problem with it." And it was Buschini at the end of the day who ended up changing numbers, and that number he gained last year because he wanted to honor Brooke Behringer, but he gave it up just so this could all work. And Nair and Principal can all have the number 18. That's what he's talking about with main character syndrome. He says his team doesn't have any of it. Maybe retrospectively, Matt Rule's looking at Trev Alberts and thinking, yeah, there is maybe a little main character syndrome here. I think Trev had a very, very specific and rigid idea of how he wanted to see the athletic department run. And that, I don't think it rubbed I shouldn't say it rubbed anybody the wrong way, because it definitely rubbed some people the wrong way. But I think Rule prefers it this way, And you're saying, oh well, Happer, like in this way, like Rule gets more say, he gets more power. Like, yeah, yes.
Matt Rule won a power struggle against Trev Alberts, the former Husker and athletic director.
That is not what I'm saying.
Okay, that
is not what I'm saying. I am saying that Rule in this setup is being more trusted with the brand and the giant scope of like the university than he was. But like the face of the athletic department when Trev Alberts was here was probably going to be Trev Alberts, because it was his vision. No alternate jerseys. Our jerseys all look the same. Here's how the stadium's going to be. This is how you do it. He has a very specific vision on how he needs to run an athletic department. And as you saw, if he doesn't get that, if he's not allowed to see that vision through, out the door. I don't think this is a bad thing, for the record. I don't think this is a bad thing. I just think there are two really, really strong personalities there. And, maybe that doesn't always like work in perfect symphony. All we'd ever heard before, like he never, also Rule never really seemed that beat up that Trev left. I was always amazed by that.
Yeah.
Given that he was such an important figure of bringing him here. Yeah. And it's such an important reason why he was here. And he trusted that vision so much. I was always amazed that he never really seemed that beat up that Trev left. Rule never did. Yeah, I wish his family the best, and we'll move on. That's kind of the way he has to be, I guess.
And at the time, you look at it and you're like, oh, total football guy. Like, okay, who's here, who's not? I can only deal with who's here, Yeah. And now in hindsight, might be something there. Comments rolling in.
Yes.
Star Wars Fiend.
Yes.
Wow, this may be one of Connor's best takes ever. Seriously, this is spot on. Literally did not even think of this at all.
Okay, well, I hope you...
Connor.
I hope I'm not convincing you of something that doesn't exist.
Connor, keep it up. In a few years, you may be 500 on takes.
500 on takes? Uh-huh. What's that mean?
You like a batting average.
Oh, like hitting 500, like Bobby Witt Jr. almost is?
Yeah.
Got it.
Charles, target emoji, target emoji, target emoji, target emoji. Travis, Rule saying he likes neutral site games was the first red flag I've seen from him. I don't like that.
I actually don't like that either, for the record. But he was gung-ho. He was like, he said that thing. He was like, I wanted to bring Baylor to Mexico.
Yeah.
And he said, he was asked about Ireland in particular. He was like, hey, I know they just went a couple of years ago, but like, would you be open to it? And he'd be like, I don't know if they're going to come back to us at any point in time soon for a variety of different reasons. But yes, like hardcore, yes, I'm in on that.
I'm okay with neutral site games. Ireland is different.
You know what he also said, and I don't know if we'd ever heard this story before. He goes, when he visited Nebraska for that Illinois game in 22, when that really, really nice day, they wanted to, after the visit, him and his wife really wanted to just get away. And so they took a vacation for a few months.
Okay, I'm glad you're telling this because I had never heard
I don't think I'd heard this before.
Yeah.
So they wanted to just get away and think about it for a little while. And where did they decide to go? Ireland. And so they get off the plane, and what is there greeting Matt Rule but a gigantic 200-foot Nebraska helmet?
He called it a sign from God.
The remnants of the 2022 Ireland game, Aer Lingus Classic. And he's like, well, I guess this is over. I'm going to Nebraska. God told me to. Anyway, chew on that, I guess. All right, back after this. We'll have a couple more minutes before we get to Bigelow on the Conor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone. You've heard us talk about FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. We're going to keep talking about FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Something a little different for you this year, a little extra. Now through September 22nd, all FanDuel customers can bet $5. And what do you get this time? 3-week free trial of NFL Sunday Ticket. Hello from YouTube and YouTube TV. Then with a YouTube TV base plan, you'll be able to watch every regular season Sunday afternoon out of market game. Imagine that on a Sunday afternoon. Oh, that'd be beautiful. All you need is a Google account and a current form of payment, and you can cancel anytime. Head to FanDuel.com/Happer. Download America's #1 sportsbook. Once again, bet a $5 bet and get a 3-week free trial of NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Once again, FanDuel.com/Happer. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. 21 and over, present in Iowa. Full price of NFL Sunday Ticket will be automatically charged seasonally after free trial. No refunds. Terms, restrictions, and embargoes apply. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-BETS-OFF. A text from the 402.
Hello, 402, my favorite area code.
Yeah, the GOAT area code.
Remember when they had area code bumpers on the Nebraska football helmets?
I do.
Good times.
I remember I remember I was going to ask about that at a press conference one day because I felt like I was the only person who noticed or cared. And I asked Keith, I was like, because I got into the press conference late, I was like, Keith Mann, the sports information director, I was like, has anybody asked about the area codes on that? Like, should I ask about that, or do you want to
be well received,
or do you want to just tell me the answer? Like, what happened with this? And he was like, yeah, I guess you could ask. Which is a classic Keith Mann answer. And I didn't for whatever reason, but I think Parker. I think Parker did. And I don't know what the response. We never found out what the answer was, did we? I don't know what the response. I feel like he was asked about it once.
About them going away? Or...
About them going away.
Yes.
We know why they existed in the first place.
Right.
But then they stopped.
They just disappeared.
I mean, I think you want to know the answer? The answer is because Scott Frost cares about things that don't matter too much.
Okay.
That's why. But like, what would he have said? I have no idea. Well, you don't see Alabama with area codes in their helmets now, do you?
We ran out of 7s, so we couldn't do it anymore.
Yeah, something like that.
Had to take them away from everybody.
Anyway, text from the 402.
Hi, 402.
So right when Trev left, we were worried about Rule leaving, and now you're saying Rule's probably happier.
Lifer.
I actually kind of am saying that. Yeah. I am saying that. I'll sign my name on that. I'll say it's I don't know that he's certainly not more likely to leave. I don't know if he's less likely to leave.
James Franklin never leave Penn State.
See, but I've never been a buyer in that either. Like I can't unequivocally tell you that he would never take that job because I'm like, nobody could say that.
It would scare me. It'd give me too much anxiety if it was open.
I think if that situation, let's put it this way. If that situation came up, Franklin gets fired, Penn State's open, they come after a Rule, it'd be a harder sell for him to leave here now than it was a year ago. And I think each subsequent year they have success, it's going to be a harder pull for him out of here. Because I think he said it, anybody would say this, but like, they can win here. They have the tools to win here. They have the NIL to win here. They have the facilities to win here. They can win here. And if you build it, what is better about this than Penn State? Or what is better about Penn State than this? If they're both on equal playing field, if they're both winning. Nothing would be my answer. I guess like
the allure of
slightly closer to being at home.
Yeah.
You know, playing at his alma mater.
But certainly now Trev was a hands-on athletic director, and Dannon is
Mr. Yogurt.
Very hands-off, it seems.
I think that yes, I think certainly.
And I'll speak for myself when I say this. I prefer a hands-off boss.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Just leave me alone. Let me do my job. I will produce results.
Nice. And I think he has an AD that is like, that's working for him,
Mm-hmm.
It's just I think that's the way he likes.
You got to work for your guys.
Yeah. I think he's an advocate for him. And I think Trev is an advocate for Rule, but I think more than anything, Trev is like an advocate for the university, right? For the brand.
Mm-hmm.
Remember when Rule said like we can't be shy about I'm gonna botch this quote bad, but like we can't be shy about we have to be unashamed and about like doing what's best for the Nebraska football program, or like something like that, right? I thought about that more now over the last several weeks, and I thought, what was he talking about? Because that was in the press conference that he just randomly did right after Trev left.
Mhm.
To find the quote, but it was like we cannot be. I don't think he used the word ashamed, but we have to do what we have to do. Basically, it amounted to that. You know, we can't worry about optics, he said. I don't know what he was talking about there. I don't know what he was referring to. I don't know what he had in his mind when he said that. But the further we get away from it, the more I think it was about his bosses. You know? So there you go. Also, text from the 402.
Hi, 402.
Producer Josh produces results.
Damn right.
Vote for Josh. I live here. Chris in South Carolina writes in.
Hi, Chris.
We're huge in South Carolina. Connor, if we were a Nike school, would you like alternate uniforms? Yes. Pretty simple. Adidas stinks. Sorry.
100%.
Yeah. I would feel a lot more comfortable with Nike being able to do the right thing with alternate uniforms rather than our dear friends at Adidas.
They are our friends. We appreciate their hard work.
Thank you. Thank you.
Be better.
If Nebraska was a Nike school, I would just have more of their stuff. I would have more gear. I would have more Nebraska gear. You know how much Creighton stuff I have? A lot. I love Creighton stuff.
Because it's nice.
It's nice. And I like blue. I think blue looks better on me.
Well, you're wearing blue right now.
I am. But this is a royal situation.
Boys are playing some ball.
They are.
It's all MLB Network can talk about today.
I know. They can't stop talking about the Royals. This is my nightmare and my dream at the same time. All right, we're back after this with Jacob Bigelow. I'll ask him about some of these things. And his latest guest on his podcast. I'm curious to hear how that conversation went. Coming up on 1620 The Zone, but first, we're getting ready. We're getting ready for pumpkin patch season, folks. We know the place for you. It's Vallis.
You know it. You love it.
Big turkey legs.
Big chairs.
Would you like to go the easy way or the squeezy way? That's what they always ask you at that one place. I love Vallis Pumpkin Patch. And guess which way I always take? The squeezy way.
Squeezy.
Is it disgusting? Yes. Is it awesome? Yes. Go to Vallis Pumpkin Patch and we can get you in for free. 2 free passes, season passes to Vallis. Enter to win right now, 1620thezone.com.
Hooking up!
That's the country song, right? Remember when?
Thank you.
Jacob Bigelow.
Yeah. Whenever my open is concocted, throw that in there.
He's on fire!
Jacob Bigelow, Huskers Illustrated, on the Conor Happer Show, on 1620, The Zone.
Boom shakalaka! All right, we're joined now on the 42 Degrees The Source hotline by our dear friend Jacob Bigelow of Huskers Illustrated and the Stretch Big podcast, which we're going to talk about in just a second. Jacob, good afternoon. How are you?
I am swell, Hap. How are you?
Swell. That's a BC term he usually uses on Fridays. Swell. You're swell because why?
Well, the Chiefs just released Kadarius Toney, so my nightmare is over. But it is also there's also football at the end of this week.
Yes.
It no longer feels too much like a sauna outside, which is a very welcome thing for me. And then it's been a good run for me. I don't want to toot my own horn too much, but I'm on a good little run here. So I'm feeling
nice.
I'm feeling good.
Feeling hot right now? I heard that you're leading the weirdo Jack Mitchell softball team in batting average. That's another piece of this, right?
That is another piece of this.
Everything's coming up Bigelow.
I don't want to jinx myself. Some folks over the summer referred to me as Nebraska media Isaiah Roby. Does he know how good he can be? Whether it's writing, talking, or playing slow pitch softball. Through 2 games, you are correct. I am leading our team in batting average and trying to get off the schneid tonight. But yeah, everything is kind of coming up me and I can't complain.
Amazing. So on the Kadarius Toney, are you excited to, as Ian Rappaport said, are you excited to continue finishing the Kadarius Toney story? Because his story is not finished, according to Ian Rappaport.
Well, I mean, the Kadarius Toney story, huh? What kind of left turn could this one take? Is he about to be a Raider? He feels like someone the Raiders would sign.
He's really fast and really has not many other discernible skills other than that. So yes, he's a Raider.
He does feel like a Las Vegas Raider. That's all I know.
Yeah, that's a pretty good spot for. I put that on the prediction board. Kadarius Toney ends up on the Raiders. Bigelow, let's talk about your pod. I'd like to welcome you to the club of people who have had Tim Miles on their random podcasts. Welcome.
It is an illustrious club. I was, trying to follow in the footsteps of his appearance with you a couple years back when he was breaking down a basketball game that was going on while you were doing the podcast. I remember that. We didn't quite reach that level, but it was really good to catch up with Coach Miles. It was kind of a full circle moment for me. I told him, when we were talking that, I don't think I'd be doing a podcast if not for him. I don't think I'd really feel the way I feel about college basketball if not for him. So it was kind of a really cool full circle moment. It was good to catch up with him, and he's still got his fastball when it comes to telling stories. That's for sure.
No doubt about it. Tim is great. An incredible guy to do a podcast with. So I would an incredible guy to just have a beer with. Unfortunately for our podcast, it was about doing a podcast and having beers at the same time, which we did. There was a limit for I think we may have went over the limit that night. It was a fantastic time. But what a guy to hang out with for like 45 minutes, whatever it might be, and just chat with. I'm looking for, that's one story I am still looking forward to following his where it ends up with Tim Miles and going into year 3 at San Jose State here.
This is year 4.
Year
4 at San Jose. Yeah. So, you definitely, I'm intrigued by it too. I mean, you'd think, with the spot he's at in his career, he's looking for, maybe one more big job. So obviously would have to be a bounce back season for San Jose State after the way their year went last year, but they They did okay in, portal recruiting and, that sort of thing. So they're turning in the right direction. But, I'll always be rooting for Tim, and I hope he gets one more shot at a big job, in the future.
Me too. Where do you fall on the role for Heinrich Haarberg coming up, whether it's this weekend or beyond throughout the season? Marcus Satterfield said, hey, he's going to be out there a little bit. What's the best use of Heinrich Haarberg?
Taysom Hill. The Taysom Hill Swiss Army knife type role, whether that be as a decoy, whether that be as a blocker, whether that be catching a pass like we saw in the season opener last year, people forget, or in just goal line QB run game. I think there's a myriad. There's an AP English word.
Nice.
There's a myriad of different ways that they could use Heinrich Haarberg, and Satterfield basically said as much. They have the chance to get creative, and it's what he wants to do. He doesn't want to just be holding the clipboard. He wants to be on the field. He wants to contribute in any way he can. And I think with his athleticism and just his overall mantra and mindset, I think they'll find ways to get creative with it.
Because I would say the exact same thing, but the retort that I always get on this show and other places is, okay, but I don't want to take Dylan Raiola off the field. Can't you do both? I mean, if you do have to take Dylan Raiola off the field for a couple plays and he runs and is productive in those plays, then isn't this all worth it? I always love that argument when people say it's yeah, well, you're taking some of your best players off the field. Yeah, but there's you're going to get 60, 50, 60, 70 plays in a football game. If the ceiling is higher on one play because you put in a different guy, then that's a risk that I wouldn't mind taking for a few a game.
And I agree with you. Too. I mean, I see the argument. I know everyone's got Dylon fever. They're wanting to see him do as much as they can do. But I mean, one of the biggest talking points, whether it be when you think about how this offense is going to look, you're not expecting Dylan Raiola to run the ball. But I don't think that Heinrich Haarberg's only usage would be QB run game. I think there's a bunch of different ways they could use him. And we heard it last year. Why don't they get creative calling plays? Why is it all so boring? Well, now they've got some personnel, not just in Haarberg, but with Dylan, they can get more creative from top to bottom on offense. You'd hope, right? So I think it's just a part of. I think it's just a part of the personnel they've got, and also gives coaches an opportunity to get in their bag a little bit when it comes to scheme and drawing up plays.
Jacob Bigelow is with us, Huskers Illustrated, the Stretch Big podcasting, and his thoughts there. Jacob, we were just talking about this before you came out, so I want to ask you about it. What do you think is that now that we've had a couple months to digest this whole thing, and Dannon's been here for a while now? What do you think, Matt Rule? Do you think Matt Rule is more comfortable in his shoes now than he was, whether it's a few months ago when Dannon took over or when Trev Alberts was here? What do you think Matt Rule likes or dislikes about his current situation? And just to be clear to everybody out there, I'm only asking this because we were just talking about it a couple minutes ago, and I randomly thought about it in my brain. Seriously, not for any other reason. I'm not diving into anything that's not there. I just wanted to take stock of this.
Absolutely. Well, I'll preface my answer by asking, did you ever watch the TV show Friday Night Lights, Connor?
No, because I watched the movie a lot, and I felt like that was enough.
Josh, did you ever watch the television program Friday Night Lights?
I didn't, but I know we don't talk about season 2.
Well, that's fair. Well, on the television program Friday Night Lights, the main booster of the high school program is a man named Buddy Garrity, and he is a car dealership owner, and he talks fast, and he likes to talk about how important being a booster is. And my comparison for Troy Dannon is Buddy Garrity minus the Texas accent. He's just we got to all get behind each other. We got to support everybody and just go win games. That's the Buddy Garrity mantra. I don't care what you do, just go win, coach. And that's kind of the vibe I've gotten from Troy Dannon ever since he got here. He definitely does not appear to be as hands-on. He doesn't appear to be as concerned about the bottom line as his predecessor. I think it's more of a coaches first. What can I do for you? Yeah, I'm your boss, but I can work for you too. I think that's kind of the vibe that I get from Troy Dannon. And, he's embraced You know, he's not going to be the mascot for Nebraska, but it kind of seem that way at times, whether he's wearing the 1890 stuff and talking about the importance of NIL. But I mean, he's just, you know, just because his name isn't on the stadium and he doesn't have, you know, a playing history here, doesn't mean that he can't be all about Nebraska and be that way, just in a different way than, you know, his predecessor was. And I would say that Matt Rule does appear to be a little more comfortable in his own skin, comfortable in his own shoes, and then that's just my own, you know, how I've observed and the way he is. That's not sourced. That's not you know, coming from anywhere. That's just the vibe I get when we've heard from Matt Rule these last couple months.
Well, I think there's something in there too about, I mean, you kind of got to it, like visibility. I mean, Trev, there were certain things that Trev was, I think, keep in mind, he was trying to fundraise all this money for the stadium project. And I think, you know, he was really visible. And I think he viewed himself as like the spokesperson for the athletic department, because that's how he wanted it to be. Dannon, and maybe we'll see him more with football season, basketball season, like the sports season actually coming up here, just not as visible. When you do see him, he's talking about 1890. He's getting asked questions about you know, paper tickets or non-paper tickets, whatever, and cashless concessions and stuff like that. He'll answer the questions. He knows what's going on, but he certainly hasn't put himself out there as like, I want to be the spokesperson for the athletic department. That's not his approach.
No, not at all. And I get the sense that, you know, Troy Dannon wants his legacy to be results on the field. And, you know, at times, whether it be the stadium project or other things, I mean, Trev Alberts' legacy seemed like it was going to end up being more material. Like, obviously he hired Rule, but, you know, as a shoot for the stars, as the football, you know, stadium project seemed. And then, I mean, even think about his time at Omaha. I mean, when you think about, you know, Omaha and Trev Alberts, and you don't think about football and wrestling, his legacy there is building.
Yep.
And it's you know, it's physical structures. And I think that, you know, Troy Dannon appears to be more concerned about what's best for these programs to get their results. And, you know, his hopefully his legacy in Nebraska is, you know, W's on the field.
No doubt about it. Good takes, Mr. Bigelow. The month of Bigelow rolls on into September and hopefully beyond.
I know, it's strange times we're living in. Happer. It's a little bit of a hot streak, but I appreciate the time. Like always good talking to you, and have a good rest of the week, man.
Yep, good to chat. That's Jacob Bigelow of Huskers Illustrated, the Stretch Big Pod. Like we mentioned last week, he's had a bunch of contacts that he's been with in the coaching industry, like Ali Faroukmanesh and Michael Lewis and Tim Miles on his pod. It's just, and those guys were great when they were here because they love talking ball. They come from the Miles school, right? Miles, and Bigelow even talks about this in his pod with Miles, like his coaching tree and how kind of expansive it's become. Those guys are like straight up good hangs. I want to hear them on podcasts. Miles, as we all know, is a very easy character to root for.
Very,
very, very easy to root for. And so I think there's people keeping tabs on that. It's a good chat. So I would check that out. The Stretch Big podcast with Jacob. Also good takes on the athletic director. I think we're kind of seeing eye to eye on that one. Coming back, a couple things here. Couple nuggets from practice. Also, Josh, you just tweeted about something that I did want to talk. I wanted to take a couple minutes and talk about today.
Oh,
many people would love to talk about the very interesting Conor Stallions documentary.
They got Conor Stallions to talk. Conor Stallions
Put this under things I don't care about. Tell you why next on 1620 The Zone.
He does it the only way he knows how. With his massive sports brain sprinkled with a smidgen of rabble-rousing. Let's get back to the Conor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
I'd like to make a prediction.
Love predictions.
And we'll no more changing on this one. Your kicker is John Hull.
The Reaver?
The Reaver.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Your kicker is John Hull.
Has he ever made a 50-yard kick at Memorial Stadium?
I don't know. Unclear. He didn't make a. Where'd he go? Southwest? Is he a Lincoln Southwest guy?
Oh, good question. I don't know. I don't remember.
Let's see. He is Lincoln Southwest. So they never made a state title game. So no. And I don't believe Iowa Western played there last year.
No. They were scheduled to, but it fell through.
So unless it's practice, no, I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so. But I think that will be your kicker on Saturday. And I actually think that will probably be your kicker beyond Saturday. And I don't think this is injury related. Maybe it started there, but I don't think this is injury related.
Wally Pip.
It's got an element of some pip. There's some pip notes, but I think he's winning the job. You know,
Taking it.
Yeah, pretty simple.
Not a number two playing like a number two.
Josh, let me tell you about something that I'm not. We're gonna do what to watch in a second. Here's something I'm not watching.
That's right.
The Conor Stallions documentary.
But they got Conor Stallions to talk.
Why do people feel like they need to tell us about that? I don't like. Do I care? Should I care? Oh, shocking. Conor Stallions did actually know Jim Harbaugh. Wow. This is earth-shattering. And then you just read. Why don't you read this tweet that you did for? Is it Ben Koo, a friend of the show? He's a friend of one of our shows.
He should be.
I think he's a friend of the show.
He's the guy who runs Awful Announcing.
Awful Announcing guy. So he is a media critic.
Savant.
He knows what's going on.
Untold is just not a serious documentary brand, and I don't think the producers or Netflix would put up much of an argument. Shiny topics, access, but with limited interruption or fact-checking. Surface-level investigation. People watch it. The check's clear. It is what it is.
100%.
Yep.
Absolutely nailed it. There's always been something missing from those stupid documentaries, and
the truth.
They absolutely have juicy subject lines, but in most cases, they're getting one person's perspective or zero people's perspective.
Yes. Today, the Conor Stallions episode marks the 15th episode of Untold.
Oh, God.
By my count, 2 of them have been good. The first one, which was the Malice at the Palace, where they had the Pacers and the Pistons retelling their event, the series of events. And I actually thought the Manti Te'o one was pretty good.
So here's what they've knocked out. Is this the right one? Untold?
Untold? Netflix?
So Malice at the Palace, Deal with the Devil, Christy Martin's professional boxing career and life with her husband and trainer. Caitlyn Jenner, Crimes and Penalties, the Danbury Trashers, now a defunct USHL team, or United Hockey League team, UHL. Until Breaking Point, Marty Fish's life in career in professional tennis. Manti Te'o. And One. They did one about And One. Tim Donaghy. Race of the Century, the 1983 America's Cup.
Juicy.
Jake Paul and the Problem Child.
I don't need a sympathetic Jake Paul doc. Thank you. Next.
Johnny Football. Johnny Huckett Chuckett.
Just
that one was weird.
It was.
I actually watched that one. And I watched Manti Te'o too. Manti Te'o was fine. Hall of Shame, Victor Conte and the Balco scandal. Yeah. Swamp Kings, Florida. Air McNair, Hope Solo, and now Conor Stallions.
Right.
Yeah. So, I just don't know if they do a great job.
Just they don't.
We should hold our documentarians to a higher standard.
And I get that
That's
it's
all.
called Untold, so you're telling a side of the story that has not been told, so you're not necessarily seeking out the truth about what happened, but gosh, these are not good people, okay?
Yeah. Thank you.
You might get a juicy pull quote
And I also like
out of them, but that's it.
The subject matter on the Conor Stallions thing, I just don't think it's I don't know. I just don't really care anymore.
So by all accounts, everybody in the biz who has seen this is reporting today that Conor Stallions was the victim here, and
Shocking that Conor Stallions would say that.
Yeah.
I actually think he's probably right.
Yeah,
Conor
Michigan
Stallions
probably made him the fall guy.
Yeah,
absolutely.
but that's never going to be like Michigan's not going down for this. It's Michigan. Get a grip. This is reality. The coach is gone. They've served their suspensions. There's an investigation. Nothing will happen. That's it.
Yep.
Story's over. They won their national championship. They're not going to win one again. That's over too. Sorry. Every national champion that we've ever had is some sort of like intriguing scandal inside of it.
Except Nick Saban.
He won them all very cool and very legal. In very cool and very legal ways.
I don't know what that guy did, but he had to have done something,
there must
right?
have been something. There's got to be a documentary in there somewhere. That's for sure. One quick more story here. So UConn in the Big 12. We didn't talk about UConn in the Big 12 yesterday. Although I did want to bring it up. First of all, hate this. If UConn goes to the Big 12, I'm very sad.
Yes.
I love the Big East.
Unnecessary villain.
This would be an unnecessary move.
Mm-hmm.
An unnecessary move. Here is one reason why it might and maybe probably won't happen. Fox, the television network,
where Nebraska will play UTEP this weekend.
That is true, featuring Jason Benetti and Brock Heward.
Good crew.
In a virtual briefing with Big 12 presidents and athletic directors, Big 12 consultant Endeavor showed the benefits of adding UConn, which would bring the New York City TV market. We love TV markets.
We do.
12 of the 16 conference schools would have to approve the addition. According to CBS Sports, 6 of those schools have indicated that they would vote yes if such a proposal were voted on today. That was reported last night by Dennis Dodd, while 2 would vote no, and 8 are undecided. However, Fox reportedly opposes the potential move for obvious reasons. Number one being they are Big East rights holders, and they like when UConn's good at basketball because it's better for their television network. Now, in this situation, they don't really get that much of a say. They can make it more difficult, I think.
Sure.
For UConn to leave, and they can tell them, why. Either way, I love that we've reached this point, by the way, where it's like the TV networks aren't just the rights holders and to this thing. Like they don't just like get whatever they get. They're also the stakeholders and the decision makers. Like, no. We do not want this. This would be bad for us. And it would be. It'd be bad for the Big East. Would I cry about it? Maybe a little bit. But would I get over it? Probably.
Sure.
I think it's great for Creighton that UConn is in the Big East.
Absolutely.
It's incredible for Creighton that UConn's in the Big East.
And as somebody said during the afternoon crossover yesterday, like if you're the Big East, try and renegotiate a television deal without UConn in it.
Well, I mean, it existed without UConn already.
Well, yes,
but it's certainly more valuable with UConn in it.
Yes, the exposure is incredible. Big games on CBS, Big Fox, that's huge for Creighton's brand.
Yeah, that happens without UConn, though.
Does it?
Yes, it already did. Did it not, Josh? Was I alive prior to 2017 or 18, whenever they joined the league?
I feel like you're back on FS1.
No. Creighton played games on Big Fox before UConn came around.
But would they continue to do so?
Yes.
Or would they?
Yes, they would.
Or
It
would they
just-
put women's Big Ten basketball on instead?
No, they wouldn't. No, they stop. No, they wouldn't. They would just get less money.
Isn't that what makes the world go round?
Money would be great. We love money.
We love money.
It wouldn't affect your visibility. You're still going to play in big games on big networks. Like, you're still going to have
St.
the Fox
John's
deal.
versus Creighton.
Yeah,
It's
yes.
all we've got.
They're going to put like that. That will still be there. They would just get less money from the TV network. Money is a big deal.
Money's a very big deal.
That's what they would lose.
Also,
and that would be bad.
If Villanova could get good again, that would really help everyone out.
That would be great, but not with Mr. Neptune. That's for sure. All right. Back after this with the polls. We'll tell you what to watch on 1620 The Zone.
Pineapple.
To the polls at Happer Show. On the J-Tech Construction Zone Twitter feed, do we have anything? Oh, one to clean up from yesterday. Do you have a shield guy? I do not.
One man in the audience does, and his name is Jack Mitchell.
88% say no.
Oh, sad.
So it's more than one, Josh. Here's today's polls. Have they been a little grand slammy this year? The Royals have.
I think so, yeah.
A couple Sonic slams out there. 54% say yes. Did A-Rod make the rail yard cool?
I can't imagine that's true.
It was very early rail yard, Josh. Once everybody found out that A-Rod was hanging out, what was that bar that they had up top? It was like a lounge up there. It's way gone now.
I'm not going to be any help to you on
Gate
this.
9 or Pint 9 or
Pint 9 is a brewing company.
9th floor. Rule G. Thank you.
Oh, you were close.
Rule G. Rule G. Once they found out that A-Rod had a table at Rule G, a private table at Rule G, we were like, yes, let's go. We're going to the rail yard. Yes. 75% say no. Sad. Buzzkill. Should buffets make a comeback?
No, they're generally filthy.
I'm actually okay with them kind of being gone too. People always say that though. 80% say yes.
Really?
80.
Wow.
% say yes.
Okay.
Two more. Does everyone have deer sticks?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
56% say no.
Oh, really?
Shocking.
You don't know the right people.
And finally, embrace debate. Is gravy a sauce?
Most voted on poll question of the day.
No, it's gravy. 53% say yes.
Ooh. Neck and neck here. Your vote counts.
Those are the polls, Josh. What are we watching tonight?
We're not watching the Conor Stallions doc.
No. Wouldn't dream of it.
We're watching baseball. Astros Phillies 5:40 on TBS. Justin Verlander versus Aaron Nola. Go Stros. Oh.
They're playing the Phillies?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can get the Astros out of there. Go Phillies.
No.
Let's go Phils.
Mets and America's team, the Arizona Diamondbacks, 8:30 tonight on Major League Baseball Network.
Yes.
And then the Orioles and the Dodgers, 9 o'clock on ESPN Plus. It's also your MLB TV.
What's on
game
Bally Sports Kansas City tonight?
The Royals against the Guardians.
Yes. Yes.
If the Royals win, they are atop the AL Central.
Indeed they are, Josh.
Mm-hmm.
Michael Lorenzen versus Gavin Williams at 5:40 Central Time.
You can listen to that on 1180 The Zone.
A great radio station.
5 o'clock.
Yes.
Volleyball begins tonight for the Huskers, second ranked. They are taking on the number 9 team, Kentucky, 6 o'clock on ESPN2. It's part of the AVCA First Serve Showcase. It'll be followed by number 3, Wisconsin against number 6, Louisville. And non-sports things to watch tonight. Netflix has a thing that isn't a crappy documentary. It's a comedy special from Adam Sandler. I don't know the quality of it, but, it's the Sandman. It's called Love You. In his first stand-up special since 2018, the comedian delivers jokes and songs with love and party-crashing dogs. I don't know what any of that means. It's just the description they gave me.
It'd be very hard to make a description for a comedy special.
Right. He makes fun of observations that he sees in everyday life.
Yeah.
Oh, just like every other.
Yeah, right. Thanks.
Paramount Plus debuts the prequel to A Quiet Place Day 1, and Hulu offers the season 4 premiere of Only Murders in the Building. Charles Oliver and Mabel head to LA when a major studio wants to turn their podcast into a movie. Eugene Levy, Eva Longoria, your girl, and Zach Galifianakis are cast as their doppelgangers.
Eva Longoria is my girl?
Yeah, she's married to your boy. In secret. Ryan Gosling.
No, she's not. Eva Longoria?
Oh no!
Eva Mendes?
Did I mix up?
Eva Mendes, all in. Eva Longoria, couldn't care less. Yes, you did. Kind of racist.
Oh, I messed them up.
Yep.
They're
sorry.
both named Eva,
and they're both hot girls.
They're both hot girls.
Hot
named
ladies.
Eva. I apologize to the Gosling, Longoria, and Mendez estates.
Your apology is Thank you for your apology. Your apology was necessary.
I made an effort.
Old man Doug writes in.
Hi, old man Doug.
No Conor Stallions, Doc. Wouldn't this be malpractice on the part of Conor Happer being a sports talk show? No, because we weren't going to talk about it anyway. So why do I need to watch it? Not important. Not important.
Not important.
That's it for us today, Josh. Thank you.
Thank you, Connor.
Tomorrow we are one day closer. Stay tuned. We'll have Mitch. We'll have the tweet bag. We will have
Brett Bloomquist of
Robin.
the El Paso Times.
We'll get our UTEP preview. We'll get cooking on that a little bit, and we'll get ever closer to game day. We are done for today. If you missed anything, 1620thezone.com is where you can find it. The crossover is next.
himself a crossover. Oh, killer crossover. Just crossover.